give you my love. When they have finally stripped you of the handbags and the glad rags that your granddad had to sweat so you could buy. I guess sure I need no jealous bells. Let's go upstairs and read my tarot card. Stay with me, 'cause tonight you're gonna stay with me. Right about the birthday gown that I bought in town. When you sat down and cried on the stairs, you knew it didn't cost the earth, but for what it's worth, you made me feel a millionaire, and you wear it well. Madame Onaz has got nothing on you.
Well, good night, good evening, good day, good golly, Miss Molly. Welcome, everyone. Was that enough, or do you want some more?
Oh, a whole
More,
lot
of
more.
course.
A
More.
whole lot more. Big
A
Rod fan.
smorgasbord of
Awesome.
Rod, a smattering of Rod on the screen. Welcome, everybody. That was, I quite enjoyed that montage. I might play it again later. That was quite good.
And you barely scratched the surface. Man.
I did barely scratch it, yes.
Yeah.
But I didn't break through at all. But yeah, so tonight we are doing a one-off special. It's only talk and roll about the Cockney Scot himself, Sir Roderick Douglas Stewart of Highgate, London, but spiritually of Scotland. We claim him. He claims it. We claim him too, because we don't have that many. So we're going to claim him. Well, we're certainly going to claim him up to a certain point in his career. After that, he can be taken by anyone else he wants. But so,
Are you talking about when he went commercial? Or is that what you're talking about?
blondes have more fun, they say, but I wouldn't know because I wouldn't listen to that album. So before we get started, I would like to officially welcome my beautiful panel of rockers. They're off their rockers, or they're rockers. It's one or the other. First of all, my great friend Joe from Joe's Atmosphere.
I'm just a dirty white boy. 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 Dirty white boy.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
What's the point of being a clean white boy? I don't
Indeed.
understand.
Welcome, sir. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. Doing
Yeah,
great.
good. What
You
kind
know,
of a day have you
I
had?
hate that I missed your stream earlier this week, but you know, I'm knee deep in commissions for everybody wants something right
You
before
are.
Christmas. So.
You are. There's an awful lot of needy people asking for commissions, I believe.
Oh, yeah. I heard from some guy on this panel earlier,
But yeah,
he's
not
got to wait
seen
till
him
after the beginning of the year. Sorry.
But that's a good problem to have. Too many commissions
Yes,
is
it
a good
is.
problem to have.
It's a good thing.
But welcome, sir. I'm glad you're here. I'm sure you'll make many, many future streams. Next Monday is Dio Era Black Sabbath, so that's well worth dropping in, or if you're free.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
But I'd also like to welcome my friend from the East, from the Mystic East, Mr. Christian Delorme. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great, my friend. And
Good.
yourself?
I'm awesome. I even have a clip for you.
Wild, hot-blooded, check it and see. I got a fever of 103.
Yes, very good song.
You can never have enough foreigner.
No, you can't. I always knew there's a reason why I love Christian. I
And my favorite of all Foreigner song is Urgent, because he's really misses his girlfriend. He can't wait to see her again.
Yeah, the great thing about those guys and the guy we're going to talk about tonight is it's adult love songs, man. They're not kid
Yes.
play. It's all about the adults.
But if you were in Scotland, you would call it urgent. It's urgent.
Urgent.
Urgent. It sounds like Rod Argent. He used to be in a band too. Rod Argent. But anyway.
Rod Argent and the Zombies.
And the Zombies. That's
My
right.
favorite
Yeah.
one is Feels Like the First Time. That is my favorite song ever.
You know, when you get to my age, it feels like the last time. Yeah,
I'm
D-Bud.
approaching it fast myself, brother.
So I'll just drop in on the chat who are small but dedicated.
Yes.
They are small faces, but they are dedicated.
They're already
faces.
cracking me up. D-Bud
D-Bud
Martin's in rare form already.
So D-Bud, it is indeed a Rod Stewart, but we're going to get warmed up. We can't just dive straight into Rod, you know. You have to warm up first.
You got to, yeah.
And our great friend, Davina. Good to see you again.
Hi, Davina.
And E. Clay Thompson. And I'm sure, everybody spread the stream. People and E. Clay says, people get ready. Well, Rod does a great cover of People Get Ready. That's absolutely true. Yeah, try and share the link out, whatever, all that good stuff. And over on Odyssey, our dear friend Connor B is there, and I did make you a moderator on Odyssey, Connor, because somebody has to be.
Somebody's got to be.
Somebody has to be, and you're always there. So I hope you don't mind. You feel free to reject the moderator role, but you know, I hope
somebody's
got
to block the sex bots.
Yes, Connor, you're always there, mate, and I really appreciate it. Thank you. So we have a small, beautifully formed stream tonight. Hang on. So what's D-Bud saying? You have to get in line behind all the ladies and ex-wives. That's right. We'll be talking about the ladies of Rod Stewart at some point, I'm sure, because he seems to have a type.
They all look the same.
Yeah.
And have you seen his daughter? I can't remember her name, but she does the tours with him now. And I saw her she was a backing vocalist for Steven Tyler when I saw him. She's all right.
She doesn't look like her dad.
She looks a bit like her dad in terms of blonde hair or whatever, but she's
okay.
Yeah, she looks more like whichever one her mother is. I don't know.
The worst curse for any daughters is to look like your dad or your brother. Trust me,
Steven Tyler's kid looks just like him, and she's gorgeous.
She does. Yeah,
she's gorgeous.
Yeah,
it's weird.
Yeah,
very weird.
So, Christian, my friend, I believe tonight you're a bit of a virgin in a certain area, and you're going to break that duck tonight. You're going to be, in honor of Rod,
and you.
And me, you're going to be drinking your first ever Scottish malt whiskey, single malt whiskey. And it is a Macallan 12-year-old. I told you, keep it legal, go for the 18-year-old, but you had to get the 12.
Because I'm cheap.
Yeah, that's right.
Right. That extra 6 years costs money.
So, E. Clay Thompson, I agree. His daughter doesn't look like him. She's got bigger tits. It's true. Although at Rod's age. So, Christian, my friend, we're going to watch you drink this. Cheers, enjoy, and tell us what you think after you've had the first sip. And have a sip.
Sip first. It smells good. I'll tell you that.
I'm with you.
Very smooth. I like it. It's not as bitter as I thought.
Well, that's what they say about me. But yeah, that's that is the Macallan. Macallan is the quintessential, I believe is the word, the quintessential Scotch malt whiskey from the Speyside. It's a beautiful distillery, and it was the first one. What you're drinking now is the first one I ever had.
Oh, okay, good.
Admittedly, I was only about 14 at the time, but you know.
I
can't say shit. In high school, we drank all the time. I was in
we started doing it. We have to get in training early in Scotland.
Well, not only that, us French Canadians too. My dad had distillery barrels that he put distilled water in it. He made his own booze. The only problem, me and my buddies at 14 and 15 were drinking it. It was giving us lightnings in our eyes. That's how strong this stuff was. But no, actually, very
white lightning down here. Oof.
Another reason to like Scotland. And just so you know, I have a sensitive spot for Scotland, you notwithstanding, Mr. 70s. But don't forget, the first Prime Minister and the founder of Canada was the Scots.
John A. Macdonald, yeah.
The Scots invented the steam engine and radar that helped us win the Second World War.
Television, we invented television. John Logan Baird.
One of your best exports, Andy Stewart, that my mother used to listen to.
A Scottish soldier.
I didn't know that.
No, that's the name of the song.
Oh, okay.
A soldier, a Scottish soldier.
You know what the greatest thing about the Scots is, though? Yeah. They're always confused for the Irish.
There's no confusion. If I was Irish, I'd sound like this. diddly potatoes. That's what it sounded like if I was Irish. Big difference.
Oh,
And
man.
golf, we invented golf. But.
Yes,
And
you
we
did.
also invented rock and roll, even though we didn't. But I'm going to claim it
You
anyway.
didn't.
So, because some of its roots are in Scottish and Celtic folk music that went over to North America, but a little bit.
A little bit, but it's
Yeah.
it's mostly R&B. It's mostly where the
But is
the
it
true
really?
roots of it.
Is it really?
Yeah.
So,
Oh,
I'm glad you're enjoying that drink. As I've told you, sip it. Just savor it.
Right? Okay.
Take it
Well,
easy.
I'm a virgin. I don't know what to expect. My cherry's being popped on live stream here.
That's right. Yeah, and it's a more. You'll always remember this first time.
Yes, it feels better than I expected.
I remember my first one. I was 14. Oh my god, this is going to kill me. This is going to kill me. It's not so bad.
Quick question, and I'm sorry, Eagle, double cask. What does that mean? It's a double cask single malt whiskey.
Double cask. I must have taken it out of one cask and put it in another. So you get two different flavors. And the casks are typically things like sherry casks or bourbon casks or something of that nature that have already been used. So that flavor gets into that whiskey.
That's why it's so.
Yeah. And I guess sometimes they switch them. I wasn't aware of that, but maybe they do. Have you ever go to a bonded? I know we're going to be talking about Rod, but it's Scottish, so we have to talk about it. Yeah. If you ever go to a bonded warehouse, like some of the big ones, I used to go to them for work because I worked in that business. There'd be like 1 million casks in some of them, and you would actually have to wear a mask, like a proper mask,
right,
with a breather, because the smell is so overpowering. People, you could die if you just get closed in one of those racks, and they're stacked up to the top of the warehouse. So it's quite an impressive thing, an impressive sight. But anyway, yes. So Rod Stewart, Rod,
Hot Rod.
Rod the Mod, as they called him at one point in the 60s, because he was a very stylish guy at that time. His snappy suits. We'll see a few of those. He had the haircuts. Rod the Mod. He was on the scene in London. And London, indeed, is where he was born. He was born in Highgate in London. His father was Scottish, came from Leith, the port of Edinburgh, port of Leith in Edinburgh, where very near where I came from. I spent a lot of time there. I like to hang around the ports.
Really?
Wow. But he always claimed, although these days he's a bit more, well, I support England too. But he always, first, his dad must have been really patriotic, whatever. He's kind of instilled that Scottishness in him. So a lot of his career, he had the tartan and the Scottish flag, Scottish football tops, because he loved football.
Oh, and we're talking, for those Americans out there, we're talking football.
Soccer.
Internationally.
Soccer.
The one they're playing the World Cup in right now? Yeah, that one.
Yeah, is that still going? I don't care. It's not hockey.
It is.
So I don't give
It is.
But he was born in 1945, January 1945. So what does that make him now? What, he's like 98? No, 77.
45.
Roderick
65,
David Stewart.
75.
So,
77.
77. And I mean, apparently he sold something like 250 million records worldwide. Not bad going, I guess. It's okay. And he's still touring constantly. He'd certainly dropped down into the more of the ballady, middle of the road standards area in the last few years, although he still performs some rock stuff on stage. But he has that kind of raspy voice. How would you describe his voice?
Yeah, I was going to say, I was going to try and do a little gag, like get some, powdered quick, cocoa, and act like I had gravel in my mouth, try and sing like him. He's got that raspy, I smoke 3 packs of cigarettes a day voices that just, it smolders, man. It's good stuff. It
does. Yeah, he's really developed that raspy, bluesy, back of the throat thing. We're gonna play a couple of clips.
He's not gonna break glass, but it's one of the coolest sounding voices you'll ever hear. And for the kind of music he sings, it is a perfect match for what he does. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think he's very clever with tailoring his material over the years to suit that. And just like to say hi to Darius, our good friend. Always good to see you, buddy. I mean, you're always welcome to come on as well if you want.
He is the
just
coolest.
Let me know. And he came, although he's flirted occasionally with harder rock stuff, particularly in the Jeff Beck era, which was pretty loud and heavy, he tended to prefer the more good time rock and roll of the Faces because that didn't demand such a projection of the voice. You know, like he wasn't a heavy. He could never be a heavy singer
kind of thing. Yeah,
yeah. He could never be a heavy metal singer. He loves a good emotional ballad, and he's got loads of them in the catalog. Things like Handbags and Glad Rags, First Cut is the Deepest, Tonight's Night, all those. Sailing. Now, Joe, are you familiar with the song Sailing?
Sailing?
Yeah.
Just whoever did that version that was huge.
Little River Band.
Yeah.
That's a different Sailing, though, I think.
No, let me.
So, Rod, so just as an example, it was actually the clip at the end of the montage was the song Sailing. It's on Atlantic Crossing.
I think another one.
And it's written by a guy called Ian Sutherland, who just died recently, unfortunately. And it was originally recorded by his group, Scottish group called the Sutherland Brothers. And Rod Stewart recorded this Sailing, and it's on Atlantic Crossing, an enormous hit in the UK.
Is it the same one that Christopher Cross did?
No, completely different song. Okay. I'll play a bit of it later.
That's
anyway,
I know.
He had a huge hit with that in the UK, like 6 weeks at #1 type thing. It's on Atlantic Crossing, that album. Okay. Absolutely nothing over here. So he only ever performs that live in the UK and in Canada because it's the only other place where they recognize it. So, but it's a great example of a song. It's like a stirring, emotional ballad with the sweeping orchestral stuff and great melody. So he's been very good at picking those songs. It's not to say he can't rock out as well, of course. But so we'll take a wee, if you guys are okay, I'm going to kind of take a quick run through his early stuff because there's a couple of interesting things.
Man, I'm
there.
looking to be educated. I mean, I only know the stuff I.
Well, you've come to the wrong stream.
Boy, no, I haven't. Nobody.
Now you found out about whiskey.
So way back in the day, his first ever band in Highgate, he was actually at a number of jobs. One of them was he was a gravedigger and worked in a funeral home. So. Make of that what you will, but he actually had a band in early 1960s, which there's no record of, no pictures, no records, called the Raiders. And then the Raiders actually, this is like 1961, that auditioned for a guy called Joe Meek, who's a famous British producer. He was. You ever heard the song Telstar? The instrumental Telstar. Huge hit, Tornadoes, I think it was the band. Joe Meek was this fantastic British weirdo producer. He recorded everything in his mother's attic, and he had huge international hits with various things. And anyway, the Raiders auditioned for him, and he went, "I like the band, but the singer's shit." So that was the end of Rod's time in the Raiders. And in fact, Rod Stewart says,
there's a beverage here.
Rod Stewart says he made a rude noise when he heard me singing. So
that's awesome.
Which I think is quite funny, really.
Oh man!
So from there, he went on to be in a band called the Dimensions, who again, there's very few pictures of. This is one of them. This is a group called the Dimensions that he was in. You can see him right in the corner there.
Oh yeah.
Then I mean, God knows what he's only probably about 18 there or something.
Oh, he's a kid.
The problem with this band was that there was another singer in the band, and he didn't want Rod to sing. He just wanted him to play harmonica. So there was a little bit of a conflict there. I want to actually see if I can play a tiny bit of one of their tracks, just so we can hear what he sounded like way back then. And I'm pretty sure they've... did I not have that one?
I thought you were ready.
I don't know if there is a Dimensions one. That's the problem. We'll come back to that because I've got some clips of his very early stuff. Let me put the images back. So anyway, he's in the Dimensions, But that didn't last long because, as I say, they didn't want him to sing. Maybe somebody was trying to tell him something. I don't know.
Right.
So in 1964, this is why they called him Rod the Mod. I mean, look at that. Look at that haircut.
Mhm.
Look at that suit. Isn't that sharp?
Yeah.
Now,
Sharp
this
as
is
a tack.
Sharp as a tack. This is a group
How
called,
how many different colors are those buttons, by the way?
I don't know. I guess he probably sewed them on himself. But,
Now,
So
now
what
when they
happened
said
here
mod
was-
back then, was it short for modern? Is that what it was?
yeah,
short?
kind of. I mean, the mods were like, I guess it was like modernist, and they were all about, like the Who. It's all about sharp dressing and great hair.
Right.
So this is a group called Steam Packet that he joined in 64, and the guy beside him there's Long John Baldry, who did have a couple of international hits. He was a sort of British blues singer. And next to him is Julie Driscoll and Brian Auger, who went on to have some hits themselves later as a double act. Brian Auger being the keyboard Hammond organ player. And he was with them for a couple of years, Steam Packet, and they did reasonably well, but not big commercially, but on the British blues scene. There he is with the stripy jacket. He should have been in the Small Faces because he's a lot smaller than this guy. But Long John Baldry was, I don't know, about 8 feet tall or something.
Wow,
And funnily
yes.
enough, when Rod left Steam Packet, Elton John joined.
Really?
Yeah, so there was a connection there. Now this is Rod there, whose nose is looking pretty rough. This is at the Richmond Blues Festival, which was a big blues festival in the 60s in Britain, with Long John Baldry and the Animals. That's Alan Price of the Animals there.
Mm-hmm.
They're all jamming away up there. Julie
I've
Driscoll's
heard that
looking-
name before from back then.
Yeah, so House of the Rising Sun, Don't Let Me Be
Yep,
Misunderstood,
Mm-hmm.
all that good stuff.
Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so the Animals are pretty. And this is a slightly later photo because Rod and Elton have had a long standing thing, not sexual, I don't think, but you never know.
You
They've
never
been
know.
frenemies for a long time. This is them with Long John Baldry in the 70s posing for a picture. So they've got some connections there. But I think we do have a little bit of Long John Baldry that we can play. Where's my producer when I need him?
Right?
Yeah.
He's in the chat.
I must have given him the night off.
He's in the chat watching
in
you
the chat.
drown. That's what he's doing.
I'm not drowning. You guys, we've got all the time in the world here, so there's no hurry.
I'm joking.
Yeah.
You're doing better than I could. I aspire to prepare. Like
Oh no,
you.
this is actually one of his early solo records. I hope we can get away with it. This is Rod singing "Good Morning, Little Schoolgirl"
Can I come home?
with Long John Baldry.
Can I
Yeah.
come home
Okay.
with you?
So this is from that era.
Tell your mother and your papa
There's no live footage available.
once was a schoolboy too.
Yeah. Wow.
And because the Yardbirds covered it, he missed out on a hit song.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, he had a number of singles in the '60s with either himself or various bands. None of them were really made an impression,
Sometimes I don't know why.
and he hasn't really got the rasp yet.
No.
Yeah.
That guy's out of it. But that's one of his early Long John Baldry tracks, "Good Morning, Little Schoolgirl." Briefly after that, he was in a band called Shotgun Express.
Wow. That's awesome.
And I wonder what he thinks of these pictures now.
I think
love
they look cool. Yeah, they look good.
That just looks like a weekend in the yard for half the people down here in Louisiana, bro.
I'd like to say hello to John, Das Wolf, and everybody. Can he pile that hair higher? Think of the amount of product that was required.
Required, man.
I mean,
He
the
was
women,
keeping- yeah,
yeah,
he was
the women must have looked at him with envy. Shotgun Express, a relatively short-lived group. They're not in the picture here, but Mick Fleetwood and Peter Green were in this band.
Oh,
Some
wow.
of the time Rod was in it. They're not actually in this picture. It's just the well-armed members of the band that got into this
It's
picture.
amazing how small that world really was, how much these guys interplayed with each other.
Oh yeah, the London scene, and Rod was a fixture on that scene, along with the guys like David Bowie when he was known as Davy Jones. Guys like Andy Summers of the Police was part of that scene because he's a lot older. He was a lot older than he looked when he.
He was. Always loved Andy Summers.
Yeah.
He was my favorite member of that band.
But when you hear the Rod singing on that track, he hasn't yet got that kind of raspy bluesy thing going on yet.
He hadn't smoked enough cigarettes yet.
That's right. I don't know if I've got any. I don't know if I've got any Shotgun Express. Oh, there's one. Yeah, I think this is one of the few tracks. This is the Shotgun Express. Very orchestral. I'll pause it.
I was going to say, it sounds like a Bond theme, man.
It does, yeah.
When I first saw you, this strange kind of feeling.
I like it.
It's pretty funky.
Yeah, I like it.
And you can hear I don't know who the woman is that's in the band. But again, you're not getting that raspy thing yet. He's still singing from the front of his mouth. He's not that down. He probably hadn't smoked enough by then.
I
That's
guess.
right.
I don't know what the deal is.
So that's another rare example of early Rod.
Mm-hmm.
Shotgun Express. He wasn't in them for long because he was moving on. This was about 1966. Rod the Mod, yeah. And
I was 1 year old.
You were indeed. I was 3 years old.
And my parents were still practicing.
Yeah, Shotgun Express. I mean, in Britain now, you'd never get away with a cover like that. You might still get away with it in the US, but you'd never get away with it in Britain.
That's crazy. And this is 1966.
Yeah. Shotgun Express. I just love it.
It's awesome.
Well, yeah, they would be disabled weapons, but well, I don't know, maybe not. The Cray twins were around in London at that time, the big mobsters, so you never know. But then,
yes.
Sorry, we'll skip the faces.
Okay.
We're going to move on to Rod starting to become a bit more of a thing, the Jeff Beck Group.
There you go.
So this is the Jeff Beck Group.
There's Mr. Jeff on the right.
Yeah, with Ronnie Wood on the bass.
Yes.
You know what's funny? Anybody that's, I took guitar lessons for a very short time when I was a kid. Anybody that's ever picked up a guitar knows who the guy on the right is. Everybody. Yeah. It's crazy.
And they also now know what his nipples look like.
Right? Now they know what he looks like, bare-chested. Yes.
And didn't Ron Wood play bass for the Stones too? Once
he may have played. Yeah, I mean, he certainly did on record because Keith and him both played bass and guitar. Sometimes, what's his name? Bill Wyman didn't bother to turn up because he couldn't be arsed, and one of those two would fill in. Bill was always a bit more casual about these things than and mainly because he was fed up with waiting for them to recover from their latest bout of debauchery. So he would just fuck it, I'm going home to the wife or whatever. Well, whichever wife he had at that time and however old she was. But but there, Rod's sporting a very nice mid to late 60s hat. I've seen George Harrison wear a hat like that. Maybe it was the same hat. He's got the cross. He's got the bare chest. Not necessarily the best look, I don't think. But yeah, joined the.
If you wore a hat like that today, they'd ask him for his man card. But back then, it was cool.
So joining the Jeff Beck Group in '67, and he stayed with them till around about '69. Made 2 albums, did a bunch of tours, including a couple of US tours, which critically were well acclaimed, but apparently the band were broke, like flat broke, totally, absolutely, whatever. And it's funny because this is probably the heaviest material Rod's ever sang. The first 2, if I could just give me a second, I'll call up the album covers. the two Jeff Beck Group albums. Oh, actually, I just want to flip through a couple of other images. That's Shotgun Express again.
I was just wondering if he was a Joe Namath fan back then or something, because every
Yeah.
other picture I see him in a fur coat every time, you know?
Well, I know it's weird, isn't it? And here's just a clip of Rod playing the guitar. He does actually play the guitar. He doesn't do it very often on
Yeah,
stage.
when
but
I
he
saw him
does.
live, he didn't do it. He
No.
just sang, but
But he does
yeah.
play a bit because he writes as well. He writes a lot of songs. But so Jeff Beck did 2 albums with the Jeff Beck Group, The Truth
Yeah.
and Beckola. Now, Jeff Beck's aim at that time, and I think if he hadn't been usurped by Led Zeppelin, would have been to be something like Led Zeppelin. In terms of a heavy blues-based sound, and very heavy, because Jeff Beck Group at that time was super loud, super heavy, and Rod probably sang his most forceful and roughest stuff there, and that's where he really got that rasp. Apparently, he was so shy though on stage, like in the first US tour, he hid behind the amplifiers to sing because he was so nervous. It was a US
That
first
sounds
US.
like that does not sound like the guy I saw at all.
I mean, that's what they say anyway. Apparently, he was
up the
like
stage when you see him in the
super
80s,
nervous.
man.
Yeah, and so they had to coax him out from behind the amp. So once he got going, though, they were a huge hit critically and live. And as you know, they had Jeff turned away from this later and did more jazzy stuff. But at this point, and he was one of the guys that came up with the original Led Zeppelin idea, him and Keith Moon and a couple of others, and it just didn't really work out. Led Zeppelin became Led Zeppelin. Jeff kind of relinquished that blues-based heavy sound to them in the end. So you never know if it had gone the other way. Rod might have ended up being them with
He
them.
might have been, yeah, right. Yeah, he could have
And
been the guy wearing the tight jeans, right?
Yeah, and one of the tracks on here was one of the clips in the montage, which is the old Yardbirds song "Shapes of Things," which Jeff Beck Group was the lead-off track on this particular album. So, with your indulgence, I will just play a tiny bit of that, if I can find it. Here it is. You can hear just how loud they are.
There's that smokiness. It's starting to come out of him now.
He's starting to sound like Rod now. Yeah. Now, Shapes of Things was an old Yardbirds song, and Jeff Beck was famously in the Yardbirds. Famously also.
That's a bad recording, but his voice just cuts through it. That's what
and there's very little live footage as well, which is a real shame because apparently they absolutely tore it up on stage. And Rod came into his own as a singer, I think, at this time. He's now you can hear it's Rod Stewart, but it's also fronting something very loud, very heavy, which you wouldn't be associated with in any way now.
No. Once he went out on his own, he wasn't doing this kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, leave it to Jeff Beck to find something great, man. Yeah.
And Jeff really stretched out on this one as well.
And who else played in the Yardbirds 70s?
Well, Jimmy Page, Eric Clapton.
Just about every great guitarist of the 1970s.
Clapton was first. He left. Jeff Beck joined. And then for a brief period later, Jeff Beck and Jimmy Page were both in the band at the same time for like two songs and one tour. And then Jeff Beck said, fuck it. And he walked off. He literally walked off. Well, not the stage. He was in the hotel. They were on tour. He went, fuck it. And he left and got the plane home from America or wherever.
Before you get off of Jeff Beck, I got to tell you, my biggest memory of Jeff Beck was that video he did for a song in the early 80s called Ambitious, where he had everybody that was in Hollywood in that video at the same time. And it ended up being Donny Osmond singing the shit out of that song at the end of it.
It's a great video.
Yes,
it is. Video. I've seen Jeff a number of times live in the last 10, 20 years, and he's freaking phenomenal.
He is. He's. You know what? I put him on a level with like a Carlos Santana. He's just a a singular sound that just there's no way to describe it. He doesn't sound like anybody else. It's fantastic.
It's just kind of funny when Johnny Depp was acquitted. He went on the road with Jeff Beck and partied and played concerts.
Yeah.
There you go.
So I guess the band. I mean, it was always going to be Jeff Beck's band. There was a lot of tension behind the scenes. That's why Ronnie Wood and Rod Stewart bailed eventually. All demanding guys, of course. Well, maybe not Ronnie. He seems like a good,
a whole bunch of alpha dogs in the same room.
And there was some instrumentals on here, so Rod wasn't necessarily all over the album. Again, it kind of has that hired gun feel. Not his band; he's just a hired gun.
Mm-hmm.
He did write a couple of tracks. So one of the tracks on here also is "It Ain't Superstitious," and Rod and there is a great clip which I'm just going to get to hear of Rod and Jeff Beck not so long ago performing this.
It is a privilege to be
this is 15 years ago now.
Yeah,
but they did occasionally
we did
get back together.
41 years ago.
Oof!
Ouch!
That hurt to say, didn't it?
Yeah, it's always been one of my favorite tracks, though. It Ain't Superstitious. It's great.
Yes, it's an old blues classic too.
This bass player, this little girl, Australian girl, Tal, she is freaking awesome.
Where are they at?
This is apparently the El Rey Theatre in LA.
Superstitious, black cat cross my trail.
Oh man, that guitar is so
I ain't
badass.
superstitious, black cat cross my trail.
I'll just pause it for a minute in case we
Yeah,
get
you
screwed.
got
But
to. Yeah.
it's nice to see them getting back together then, although Jeff Beck complains all the time that Rod never calls him.
Wow.
I actually have another story. I'll get to it when we get to the faces about Rod Stewart and one of the faces. But they've appeared together a couple of times since, and I don't think though that I think it's, as you say, it's two alpha dogs.
Yep.
But yeah, hey Brahma, good to see you.
Hey,
Mate.
Brahma. Hey, Brahma.
Nice to see you, mate.
Dogs begin to bark.
But Rod was made for this material, bluesy.
I thought as vocalist, that's where he was at his best in the
Yeah.
Jeff Beck Group. And my favorite Rod is in the Jeff Beck Group.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like this, and I like the faces stuff, and that's why I wanted to focus particularly in those areas of his career. I mean, to me, no disrespect to anybody that likes it, but everything from Blondes Have More Fun onwards is just kind of chasing the cash.
Yeah,
He was chasing the dollars,
He did go commercial, but hey.
So here he was still a recognized and respected rock artist, and he can still turn it on. Well, Joss Stone wasn't. Was that Joss Stone equally on this? I think it was Tal. Her name was Tal something. Joss Stone was the bass player after that. They looked similar, though, I have to say. But Eakley probably knows better. But anyway, that was them getting back together for that. So it's a decent clip if you want to look that up on YouTube. So following that, of course, was the Beck Ola, and I just love the cover of this. I mean, I've always loved this cover.
Big Apple.
Yeah, the Big Apple.
Big Apple. That's it.
It's very Magritte. It probably is a Magritte. I don't know.
You know what? 70s, the more I drink this Macallan, the more I understand what you mean. I don't get it, but you make more sense to me. I can actually understand what you're saying. That's great.
I don't know about that.
I don't know. I'm getting Scottish ears. I'm losing my French accent too, I think.
Yeah.
But thank you.
Yeah.
Cheers.
So so that was the second one that he made with the Jeff Beck Group. Some great tracks in this too. I don't particularly have any clips. I've got all the audio I could play, but I don't have any YouTube clips of them. But there's a fantastic Jailhouse Rock, which absolutely is slowed down, but it's much heavier.
Okay.
All Shook
The
Up.
Hangman's Knee. That's a different title, isn't it?
Yeah. These are great. These two albums are absolutely legendary. I agree, Lindsay. Absolutely legendary. Tal Wilkenfield, that's it. Low Spec has got the
All
name.
Shook Up's on here too.
She was an Australian girl that kind of came off the plane, Jeff Beck somehow saw her playing in a club, and she had only started playing bass like 3 years before this. And he says, "I want you in my band as a bass player." And she's brilliant. And I was lucky enough to see Jeff Beck with her as the bass player. But in this era, just these are two of the greatest rock albums ever made, in my opinion. You got to check him out. But Rod was, if he never did anything else, he'd still be remembered for these.
And Davina is showing off again with her skills and her smarts. Beckola cover.
Yeah, that's what our chat is the smartest chat.
I know.
We have the most intelligent chat.
I'm always impressed with what Davina comes out with. It's like, wow.
Yeah, she is pretty damn clever, I have to say. In fact, I can use one of these react buttons for this.
Yeah, that's what you should do.
Yeah.
Very nice. It's Wikipedia. Look at this. Look at her downgraders. Don't do that.
It's
you
wicked.
are one of the smartest people in the chat.
You
Stop,
are.
Davina.
If it's Wikipedia, how come I don't know it?
Right? How
I know
come we can't find
Wikipedia.
it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm a big Jeff Beck fan too, Lindsay, but I'm also a big Rod Stewart fan of this era. Absolutely. I wish there was more live footage of the Jeff Beck Group during this era that we could play, but this that last clip is practically the one of with the black and white footage is probably the best I've ever found. There's probably more somewhere. I just haven't found it. But just want to check in with Connor B over on the Odyssey side. And Connor, my friend, thank you very much for the tip. He's tipped $1 over there, and it's an image of somebody sick something. Without my glasses on, I'm struggling to see it. I'll tell you what, I'll let you all decide. What is that image?
Which one?
What is that?
Oh my gosh. It's saying sick.
Yeah.
It says sick.
Yeah.
And, he's lighting a match.
Lighting a
and
match.
And he's holding it over his hand.
Oh,
like,
you're right. Okay. And the other guys, yeah.
Like,
it's hot. It's on fire.
It's hot. It's on fire. It's sick. Don't you know?
Yeah, but sick has different meanings. Is it sick the way we say it?
Sick as in awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, sick is the way the
It's
kids
sick,
say
man.
it.
It's
As the
sick.
kids say it
Thank
nowadays.
you very much for that, Connor. I really appreciate it, mate. So whilst this was also going on, there is one other little track I wanted to talk about, which was also in the opening montage. There's an Australian group called Python Lee Jackson, and they were in London trying to make a go of it, make a career, and I don't think they ever did anything after this, but they needed a singer for this track they'd written, In a Broken Dream, and Rod Stewart somehow got the gig to sing this, and it became a big hit. A couple of years later, when Rod was famous for his solo material, they re-released this, and it became a bit of a hit. And you know what Rod Stewart got paid for doing this session of a song that eventually became a million-selling hit?
Nothing.
£5.
Close. He got a set of car seat covers for his car.
Well, now we know for sure that Rod spoke a lot.
Car seat covers. So, and to that end, it's a lovely, lovely song. But and I think I may have it here somewhere. Yeah, In a Broken Dream. We'll just play a little bit of it. This will probably be what kills us with a copyright.
No way.
Yeah, ironically enough.
But released in 1972, although it was recorded much earlier. We'll get to Rod's bit.
It sounds like it builds up.
Every day I spend my time.
I like that.
Drinking wine.
This is now regarded almost as his song, even though he just sang on it. It was nothing to do with the band. And it is on a lot of his compilations. And it's a neat song.
Yes, I am.
This is what makes him great.
In the days between
You
the
can just
hours.
close your eyes and almost visualize what he's singing about, man. It's freaking
Sick
awesome.
burn, Davina is saying that's what he's doing. Sick burn.
Yeah, I know.
So this well, you could be right, Davina. This has probably been sampled, but this is what I think we were talking about way earlier was that Rod seems to just find the right material for his voice.
Tell me that doesn't sound like a Bond theme. I mean, I hate to keep saying that, but it does.
It's a great bass line, yeah. Great Hammond organ, but that became a big hit a few years later when he was famous. And I do like this song. It's really good. I mean, no idea what happened to the band. They were Australian.
In a Broken Dream. I'll have to remember that.
Yeah, you can just look it up on YouTube. And it's on a lot of Rod's compilations.
I'm probably got it on that hard drive I told you about.
Oh, really? Look it up. Probably, yeah. So
I told you about the hard drive my dad gave me, right? I'll tell you about it another time.
Yeah, no, go ahead, mate.
Well, my dad, I'm the son of a DJ, and he has spent, just about every day since he closed his shop around the turn of the century, converting all his vinyl into MP3s and MP4s. I've got a terabyte hard drive that's got, my God, I want to say 19,000 music files on it.
That's pretty good, mate. Yeah.
And it's got everything. I mean, just to tell you what's on it, man, it's got one file. It's the B file, and everything's sorted. You know, artist's last name starts with a B, or the band name starts with a B, right?
So you know what's on it. You do know everything that's on it.
I know everything that's on it, and one of the files on it is a Billboard file, and it's got the Billboard Top 100 already sorted for you, 1 through 100, every year, 1959 through 2004.
Wow.
That's one file. Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty incredible, mate. Yeah.
Pretty neat stuff.
So there's not a lot you don't have then.
Not a lot. And my dad listens to all of it. About the only the smallest version of stuff he'd have is probably country. He used to buy that just for my mother, really. He liked Johnny Cash and Charlie Pride, but that was about it. You know,
Charlie Pride's great.
Charlie Pride.
And Johnny Cash, everyone knows, but Charlie Pride's less well known these days, and I really love him.
Pride was fantastic. Yeah,
Until they make a movie out of him, then he'll be famous like Johnny Cash.
Oh, who's that guy? Yeah. So that was being made around about the same. I don't know the date he actually made it, but he was in the Jeff Beck era or just before it. So the 69 Jeff Beck Group came to an end. Well, it didn't come to an end. Ronnie Wood got, so the Small Faces, who Ronnie was very friendly with, Steve Marriott left the Small Faces and it looked like they were going to break up. So they needed a guitar player and a singer to keep going. And they reached out to Ronnie Wood and he said, well, I'm sick of this Jeff Beck gig because I'm playing bass and he's a pain in the tits. Or words to that effect. So he jumped ship to join the remains of the Small Faces. And he said, but how about my buddy Rod comes with me? Because he's a great singer and he can write songs as well. And, you know, so from that configuration, they no longer wanted to call themselves the Small Faces, particularly as Rod Stewart was a couple of inches taller. So they became the Faces. I'd actually, so at this point, Rod had released his first solo album, which we'll talk about a little bit later. I want to kind of go over the Faces stuff first. So An Old Raincoat Won't Ever Let You Down was the first solo album. I think it was about 1969. Faces came about 69 too, and I absolutely adore the Faces. I mean, it's a quintessential good time rock and roll band. Yeah.
Yes.
Never, I mean, they had a few hits, but never huge commercial success, but an astoundingly popular live act right across Europe and North America. Their gigs were legendary, mainly because they were all stoned out of their minds most of the time, I guess.
But it was fun. It was a fun gig. Whenever they would play, it was fun.
It was a lot of fun. The captain's here. Captain Finity, good to see you, buddy. Yeah,
he's quoting the music already.
We're attacking. Yeah, wake up, Maggie.
We haven't gotten to that point yet.
We're going to get there, though. Don't worry, we're going to get there. Absolutely, we will. So I'm a huge fan of all these guys. It's a shame, really. I mean, obviously Ronnie Wood's still around, but Kenny Jones is the only original He's a little guy, isn't he? Kenny on the right
Well,
there's
show him to us,
he's the
man.
only original Small Faces guy still alive. Ronnie Lane, bass player, who I absolutely adore. He was a wonderful guy. Died quite a few years ago of, I think it was multiple sclerosis.
In his 50s, way too young.
Yeah, way too young. Ian McLagan, the keyboard player, who went on to work a lot with the Stones and Bonnie Raitt. He was in Bonnie Raitt's touring band for many years. Resident of Austin. He died a few years ago. I actually had a lot of email correspondence with Ian McLagan.
Oh, nice.
I got his book called All the Rage. I got it as a Christmas present from my wife, and I really loved it. It was brilliant. And so I emailed him, and his email address was his website, and I thought, I'll never hear from him. Came right back to me, and we chatted back and forth for quite a while. I deeply regret never getting to Austin to see him in person. He said, "Oh, come look me up when you get here." You know, it never happened. So, but he had a story about Rod. Before we talk about the music, he said, it's in the book. So he said, when the Faces split up, we had a whole load of gear in storage, and one of those things was my prized Hammond organ, and it disappeared. And he said, I found out like 15 years later that Rod Stewart had taken it, and it was sitting in his house somewhere. You never know, all the stuff just went whoosh, and he said, Rod had my Hammond organ, the bastard. All these years I wondered what had happened to it. He got it back eventually, but it's kind of grudgingly, I think. But I think Rod felt he was owed it for something. I don't know. But it just went disappeared.
Well, most songwriters write their music on a piano, right?
Yeah.
Maybe that was the only one he could get his hands on.
That's right. Christian's doing a great impression of a wall right now.
Yes, he is.
He is. He's actually doing a Pink Floyd impression.
Well, you handed him 12-year-old scotch.
I did.
Expect, brother? What do you expect?
So that seems to be my last. I thought I had more Faces pictures than that. We're
not seeing the pictures. I was trying to tell you to show them to us.
No, I was looking through them myself, and I couldn't find any more. So
okay.
I was pretty sure I had more pictures of the Faces, but so there were 4 Faces studio albums, I think, and 1 live album.
Mm-hmm.
First one was called First Step. And Jeff, so Rod had taken all that stuff he learned. It's really in the Jeff Beck Group, you learn how to be a frontman and a singer. And he got over that nerves, and he got the voice. He found his voice, and he became that absolute showman, frontman in this raucous band of crazy guys, because they were. First album was First Step. And then they made another one. I don't want to go through them all individually, but Long Player.
Mm-hmm.
And then this one, which was the one that probably had the most success, because the song "Stay With Me" is on it. Not as good as a wink. Yeah. Now I still have my original 1970s copy of this. I say mine because it belonged to my older sister. She bequeathed it to me when she left a whole bunch of albums behind when she left home when I was still living.
Let's see it, man.
So I'm going to. So hang on. So I call it mine.
Yes.
A nod is as good as a wink. The Faces.
That is an awesome. I automatically think of Monty Python hearing the title, right?
But I love the back cover because I love the fact they're claymation.
Claymation guys.
Yeah.
Look at the hair on that claymation Rod.
Isn't that good?
That's awesome. One of them got a cigarette hanging out his mouth. That's hilarious.
And just look at that, the live gig, because they were a live band at their core, and you can see them crammed on that tiny stage, and everybody's practically touching them at the front there.
Yeah.
And Ronnie Lane and Rod singing something together there. Ronnie was a lovely singer as well. But,
and they weren't worried about getting attacked. I don't see any security guards there.
Hang on.
There's a rope, and that's about it between them.
Yeah. They drew huge crowds, especially in America. They absolutely loved them live. Yeah. And then the last studio album they made was Ooh La La, and Rod was already, this was 1974-ish, I think. Rod 75. The band was starting to split up. Rod didn't even appear on half of it. Mm-hmm. They couldn't get him to come in and record stuff. So the title track, which was written by Ronnie Lane, Ooh La La is one of my favorite songs of all time. It's actually Ron Wood that sings it because they couldn't find Rod Stewart to sing it.
Because he was too busy cranking out top 10 hits himself at that time.
Well, yeah, it was personnel thing. Rod wanted to be
You're
the
muted,
star.
buddy.
Christian, we cannot hear
Christian, you're muted.
He was sailing.
He was.
He
He had already had like three or four solo albums in by this time. I do also have this from back in the day. Again, this was bequeathed to me from a sibling. This is the live album that they made. I don't know if it was I think it came out after this stuff. And it's Coast to Coast, Overture and Beginners, Rod Stewart and the Faces live. So they changed it to Rod Stewart and the Faces.
Yeah.
I love the cover because it's all plain. What I like is the inside. It's a weird sleeve because the records are on the top, but the gatefold opens that way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
I know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
Like it throws me every time.
Yeah.
But what I like about it is the liner notes. I'll put my glasses on for this. There's a lot of humorous liner notes, possibly not humorous, and the best one is this. Musical lineup. Rod, in brackets, he's in hospital because he fell off his wallet. Stewart.
Yeah.
By this time, Ronnie Lane had left, and they had a different guy playing bass. But it was all over in a sense. But,
Rod Stewart in the Faces at that point, though.
Yeah,
they want to sell some records. That's why
fell off his wallet, and he regularly used Faces guys as backup guys in his solo stuff, and they very good-naturedly went along with it, I guess. So, but let's play a little bit of. I mean, there's so many great Faces tracks. There's that great version of Maybe I'm Amazed. I'll put that away later. You Can Make Me Dance, Sing, and everything. The one that, of course, that was the big hit that everybody knows, and it is a tremendous song. Is
Stay With Me. Sorry, I'm just looking for it here.
Yeah.
Checking the Odyssey stream.
I'm just checking. Oh, is there something going on in the Odyssey?
No, I'm just teasing you.
No, I'm just. I thought I'd bookmarked all these, but actually, I'll play it. So I've actually got a copy.
Hey, Snowed Up. And Dave
here. Yeah.
Snowed Up and Dave. Don't forget Dave. Dave's here too.
Hang on, I'll get to that. I will get to those gentlemen in just a second. So here we go. Yeah,
I'm working on
it. I'll play a better quality one. Here we go. This is from a British TV performance, which I remember seeing back in the day. Oh, I got to show it in the stream. Hang on. There we go. I love the guitar at the start of this.
Yes.
You can just imagine these guys doing this live, slaying it.
Hang on.
Absolute epitome of good time rock and roll. Ian McLagan.
There you go.
Slow down.
I was fixing to say they're going to slow it down here in a minute.
This is before Rod's even kicked in.
Yep.
It's just killer. I love this track. Hopefully we're not going to get the stream taken down or anything.
Well, maybe over it and pause it every once in a while. You'd be all right.
Maybe some angry feminists might come over and pick your channel.
So Small Town Republic says I can hear the panties hitting the floor. The panties are hitting the floor.
I know your name is Serena, 'cause your perfume smells sweeter.
So whenever I hear people talking about Rod Stewart singing those shitty songs he sang in the 90s, I go, you should listen to this.
Right?
And as E. Clay Thomason says, I wonder how many times he hit someone throwing that microphone stand around. Quite a few times, I think. Regularly during this TV session, if you watch the whole thing, you see him pushing Ronnie Lane out of the way to get more space to do that. Keeps shoving him in the back. Get out of
He's
the
not
way.
so shy anymore, is he?
No, he's completely. But what? Just the perfect group. I love these boys to death. Miss them badly.
Now, speaking of handling mics, who's better, Steven Tyler or Rod Stewart?
Rod Stewart.
Well, I don't know. I mean,
Rod Stewart. You
I-
shouldn't
I'll-
even have to think about
I'll
it.
vote for Rod. Yeah, I'll vote for Rod. I do like
Rod-
Steven Tyler, but
But Rod was the originator, right?
no, I mean, there's a lot of guys have done mic stand twirling. I mean, that's been going on for a long time. It's
Oh, okay.
I mean, Roger Daltrey was
I
always
like the guy with
doing
the half
that and
a
then
mic
throwing the
stand.
mic around. And
I like the
Yeah.
guy with the half a mic stand.
yeah,
Freddie.
yeah, the
I
shorter
like
one.
Freddie. Yeah, I like.
Yeah, exactly. It's easier to handle the shorter one.
He
so
can
they
point it
say.
at people and stuff. You know.
So we got away with playing that, but Stay With Me, brilliant song. I mean, there's just so much good stuff these guys did. I got one more little one. So there was that.
See, after Ooh La La, that's my favorite. Stay With Me. That's my favorite.
Yeah, I do love Ooh La La, but of course Rod didn't sing in it, so I didn't really want
We
to
haven't
play it
even
here.
gotten my favorite one yet.
Oh, no, that's fine.
Yeah.
Which is?
Oh,
But another little
Tonight's
bit
the
of
Night,
another little bit of
Tonight's the
faces.
man. That was my childhood. I was listening to the radio every day back then.
This is just to hear. Yeah, Rod Stewart and Bonnie Tyler are the same person.
Right?
Yeah, Rod just had the
It's the
you get
same
that
hairdo and everything.
you get that kind of surgery over the weekend.
They just have different equipment, if you know what I'm saying.
Wings.
Yeah, so this is the Faces did a few covers, and this is one of them.
Baby, I'm amazed at the way you love
It starts with Ronnie Lane singing them.
Baby, I'm afraid of the way I love you.
But the band they bantered on stage.
Yeah.
You threw me out of time.
I love Ronnie Lane.
Why you
Poor
hung
guy.
me on a line.
Me too.
Lovely
That
little
great
guy.
job.
Baby, I'm
Great
amazed
job.
at the way I really need you.
Everybody wants your body, Snow Dub. Everybody.
Baby, I'm a man, baby, I'm a lonely man who's in the middle of something that he doesn't really understand.
So that's Rod.
Baby, I'm a man, baby, I'm the only one who could.
So again, there's that choice of material. Whether he wrote things himself or picked them to sing, they just suited him perfectly. He's
Yeah.
much more. This is the more expressive, slower, bluesier stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
And like I said a million times, and it's the same reason why I love Foreigner. It's adult. It's not kid
Yeah.
stuff. It's
that's right. It's
These-
not
these-
pop.
this is grown people stuff.
Hey,
right
Dave.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good stuff. So the Faces. It is a shame they didn't go longer. I think it.
Yeah, it's definitely the best band he was in, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, I loved the Jeff Beck Group, but it was more. That was more of a proto metal thing. It
Yeah.
was more Jeff Beck than it was Rod Stewart.
Right.
This is Rod was a fully integral part of it,
Mhm.
and it just seemed to gel beautifully, you know. So
See, Jeff
sadly
Beck,
missed.
yeah, Jeff Beck, I think, would be more for Pulp Metallicus. This would be more for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the bluesy good time rock and roll stuff. I mean, the equivalent would be probably like the Stones, you know, the Faces and the Stones, and they were very close to two bands and regularly appear in the same bills, and obviously Ronnie Wood ended up in the Stones, and so did Ian McLagan as a touring member. But simultaneously, of course, Rod was doing his solo stuff. So
Yes, sir.
let me just move on to some of that. So 1969 was the first solo album, An Old Raincoat Won't
I
Ever
remember
Let
that
You
album
Down.
cover, man. Yeah.
Now,
Mhm.
the thing I liked, I mean, if you remember some of this material and some of the hits he had after, it was very different style. There was a lot of folky elements.
Yeah, the violin.
Yeah, a lot of violin. Some of it played by a guy called Dave Mattox, who was in various folk bands. The mandolin stuff. He brought in a lot of those musicians from British bands like Lindisfarne, not only to play on these and write, and then he still had Ronnie Wood and Ronnie Lane and others playing on these too, but there was much more of a folk traditional influence on some of these as well. So there was still some rock and roll in there, but much more emotive material, I think you would call it.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the, in fact, Keith Emerson's even on this album apparently, but he was also a guy called Martin Quittenton. Was his main songwriting partner on many of these early albums. He's a guitarist. We will see him in a couple of clips later, sitting playing the guitar. Never a forwards guy, always just in the back. But one of the tracks from this that became well known, but it was also a hit for various other people, was "Handbags and Glad Rags," which was in my opening montage.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to see if I can find that as well, because I'll just look it up. Rod Stewart. So we're doing this live.
We'll do it live. We'll do it live.
Took the words right out of my mouth.
So this song was actually written by a guy called Mike DeAbo, who took over from Paul Jones and Manfred Mann. And had a number of hits with Manfred Mann, and it was later used. The music from it was later used as the theme for the British version of The Office.
Wow!
Which, without a vocal on it, I don't think. But so there he is performing it in Piccadilly Circus with a busker. This was on the first solo album.
Wow.
Ever seen a young girl growing old, trying to make herself a bride?
Everybody thinks that I think he is. Carl coming around saying that's Rod Stewart.
Sorry, Christian, my friend.
Oh, I was saying everybody's gathering around saying, "Hey, this is Rod Stewart."
Something's going on, yeah.
That's actually Rod Stewart. That's
Yeah.
not some crazy dude.
Yeah.
When they have finally stripped you out, the handbags and the glad rags that you poor old granddad had to strip to buy.
Woo!
That's pretty neat, eh?
That's great.
Yeah, so that was one of the tracks on his. You're supposed to do it on a rooftop. And,
Yeah, right.
That was the Beatles. Great. Fab. The other track that was on this album, I'm not going to play it necessarily, because is a Dirty Old Town, which is the Pogues famously covered many years later. But, in a slightly, Rod's version was slightly less Irish. But yeah, it's a pretty neat version of that song. You've probably heard it because it has other people have had hits with that song over the years. It's quite well known song.
I've heard it before.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yep.
Is Gasoline Alley on this one, or was that the Faces?
The Gasoline Alley was on. Shit, I might have to look that up now that I think about it.
Okay, sorry.
No. I thought it was on one of his solo albums, first or the second one.
Is it the one where he says "You Wear It Well"? Is that on that album?
Yeah, that's the. Is that Never a Dull Moment?
Never a Dull Moment. Yes.
Yeah.
Is that where Gasoline Alley is?
It's a great song, though. I mean, I do love that song. So this was the back of. Oh no, this is actually. So this is Every Picture Tells a Story, I think.
Yeah, he loves
Every Picture Tells a Story.
Yeah.
In Gasoline Alley.
This is the second album, solo album.
If you guys have never seen this guy live, two things he did in the show I saw him in, and I hear he always did this when he did live shows. First thing he did was he brought two big ass bus tubs, iced down cold beer, throwing it out to the crowd. I mean, bottled beer, hucking it at everybody. And the other thing he did was they just filled the place, the stage with soccer balls, and he kicked them out to the crowd.
Yes.
And I always wondered if they were signed because those people were fighting over those balls, man. I mean, they were fighting over Rod's balls, dude.
Wow.
So
Amazing.
Gasoline Alley, I think it was on a couple of albums. There was the second album after An Old Raincoat Won't Ever Let You Down was Gasoline Alley.
Says Gasoline Alley was on the album of the same.
Yeah, and it had it was covers. It was mainly covers, I think.
Well, you had Gasoline Alley and Every Picture Tells a Story. I think those were on the same album. I just can't think of the album.
No, D-Bud's right. It's Gasoline Alley is the album. It wasn't. I don't have a picture of the cover here, but it wasn't. It was an album in its own right. Although I've got a funny feeling that song popped up somewhere else as well. But it had a cover of "It's All Over Now" on that album. It's actually an album I don't have a copy of. I've got the song Gasoline Alley from various downloads. But yeah, he does a fantastic version of it. So let's.
All right. Sorry to detract the stream there.
Oh, no, you're right. And that's well remembered, D-Bud. That was the actual album there, Gasoline Alley. It kind of slipped out a little because it was mainly covers. And I don't know if he really... Yeah, I mean, he was still focusing on the faces quite a bit when it came out, but we'll just have a little clip of it here.
Once again, Gasoline Alley. Here we go. Think I know now what's making me sad. Yearning for my old backyard. I realized maybe I was wrong to leave. Swallow up my silly country pride. Going home, rolling home, down to Gasoline Alley where I was born. Going home and I'm rolling home, down to Gasoline Alley where I was born. When the weather's better and the rails unfreeze, the wind don't whistle around my knees. I put on my wedding suit and catch the evening train. I'll be home before the milk's upon the door. Going home, rolling home, down to Gasoline Alley where I was born. Going home and I'm rolling home, down to Gasoline Alley where I was born. When I'm caught up yonder and it's my turn to go, the wind runs cold in my veins. There's just one favor I'll be asking of you. Don't bury me here, it's
cold. Very good.
That was the album cover. Yep.
In Canada, Gasoline Alley is called Mechanicsville. In Canada.
Mechanicsville.
Wow.
Yeah. Just saying.
Yeah. But that I've never watched that clip before. I've watched the actual with the mandolins and all the really great music behind it, the acoustic guitars. That actually shows what a good a cappella singer he was.
A good singer, period.
Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic.
I love Scotland. McCallum is good. I love Scotland.
Yeah, so that's right, Rod. So on Maggie May, I think Captain Finity points out, and we'll show it later. We're going to show a couple of these clips later. John Peel, famous British DJ, actually appears on the stage with him when he's playing. John Peel later became he was one of the first famous British DJs, and he did a lot of progressive stuff in the early rock days, 60s and 70s. And then he became huge into the new wave stuff and promoted a lot of that in his shows later. But there he did appear with Rod. That's true. So that's a pretty damn good a cappella version of that. So that was Gasoline Alley. The third album, I think, was Every Picture Tells a Story. And that is so that's never a dull moment. I don't know what's happened to my every picture tells a story. My photographs have gone, I had all these in the...
Organized.
Yeah. You see,
Now,
you got me. You got me. I had them organized and they're all gone.
Sorry. So,
Anyway,
Joe, just me and Joe talk amongst ourselves.
You guys talk amongst yourselves.
Don't do that to me, no.
Every picture tells a story.
I'm sitting here looking at the Wikipedia page for Gasoline Alley.
So every picture tells a story was where he really started to have the hits.
Yeah.
The other albums have been relatively well received, and the Faces stuff was well received. But this is where he actually had the hits. So, Reason to Believe, Maggie May, double A side. Reason to Believe, Maggie May,
double A side. Wow.
Yeah. Well, it was in the UK. I don't know if that maybe in the US too. But Maggie May tends to get the most play. But Reason to Believe is a really brilliant track again, and it's got that folk, blues, some rock stuff on it. And his selection material just unparalleled. So that was his third album. That was 1971, and in July 71, Maggie May was released. And
God, is that song that old?
Yeah, it is. So let's have a quick check.
I'm an old sucker, dude. Wow.
So this is what the captain was talking about. With John Peel, the famous DJ, sitting here. I'll show this in it. There we go. Go back to the start. So John Peel's sitting right there.
Wake up, Maggie, I think I got something to say to you. It's late September and I really should be back at school.
I better pause it just for a minute. So, he uses the Faces as the backing band there. I don't know how they're always backing him on stuff, and it was his solo thing. I don't know how they felt about that. Like, it must have been a bit weird. Like, why are you pushing this and not our Faces material?
You never know. I mean, I always look back at Linda Ronstadt's career, and she basically had the Eagles backing up for her. You know?
I guess $10 is $10. I mean,
I guess $10 is $10 when you ain't making. You know.
Well, look at the drummer's face. Does that guy look like he's enjoying himself?
Yeah, but this is as a kid is the first I remember noticing the Faces and Rod Stewart. Because I was only about 8 or 9 years old. And I wouldn't know what the Jeff Beck Group were or any of that stuff. But this was on Top of the Pops, so everybody saw this. And I would watch that show every Thursday night religiously. So I would have gone, oh, that's good. What's this? And then find out the guy's Scottish. Oh, that's even better.
That's even better, yes.
It's a heavy acoustic element to it as well. That great Hammond organ.
You led me away from home, 'cause you didn't want to be alone. You stole my heart, I couldn't leave you if I tried.
Now,
I'm fighting yours to sing because I don't want to mess up his singing, man.
Of course, he's only miming there, but let's have a quick Reason to Believe, which was the other side of that. And this is a later. It's a bit rough in terms of video, but he did this with Ronnie Wood.
On the menu now. I don't know, I can't read my writing. Put your glasses on. Here's one from.
Is this unplugged?
This is when MTV, had music on it.
Unplugged, yes.
This one with or without glasses.
Great show they had, yeah.
Clapton, I got the Clapton Unplugged album. That was
Wow.
I need them for distance.
You know, Paul McCartney did an early one of those too. I've got that album.
But he had an electric guitar in it. I don't get it. Paul McCartney had an electric guitar and the Unplugged.
2 years ago, most of the band weren't born.
Bone. See, he's got a London accent. He's all the Scottish thing, but he's got a London accent. Here we go. This is a beautiful track as well.
Yes.
Doesn't get played as much as Maggie May. It's a bit quiet, unfortunately, but that's the video, not the.
Yeah.
Well, when I remember when that came out in the early '90s, and they were playing ad nauseum on FM radio on classic rock
Yeah.
and pop stations too. So he had
If
a
I-
second for
Yeah. If I ever make an album, I'm going to call it Ad Nauseum.
ad nauseum.
Just ad nauseum. That's what I'm going to call it.
That's right. The true seller.
Yeah, this is one of his greatest vocal performances, I think.
Yes.
Someone like you makes it hard to live without somebody else. Someone
We haven't been taken down yet, so this is good.
makes it easy to give.
I know. 1 hour, 22 minutes.
Myself
I should play that Robert Palmer one up in the corner. I didn't mean to turn you on.
You did that just recently. That's why it's on your list.
Anyway, beautiful track. Deba,
It is.
I
Awesome.
don't have the McCartney 7-inch singles boxes. I do have a ton of McCartney original 7-inch singles from back in the day, and I have almost all of the deluxe remastered box sets that he's done of all his Wings and McCartney albums, and they're phenomenal. They're not cheap, but they're phenomenal.
Best piece of album art I ever saw was
Yeah,
the when you opened up their live double album set. You opened it
Yeah.
up and it had that painting of them with all the multicolored lights. And,
oh god, yeah.
his wife's got a guitar. He's got a guitar.
That would be is that the triple album, Wings Over America?
I think that's it. But you
'Cause
know
it's
what I'm
even
talking about? When
bigger
you
than a
open it
double.
up
Yeah.
and oh my god! And it took when I first saw it, I thought it was a photograph, and then I started looking at it, and it's a painting.
It's a
I was
painting,
like,
yeah.
Oh my god!
I've got the Wings Over America deluxe box set that he did. It comes in a beautiful case, and it's got
Yeah.
like big books with. It's got like 6 discs in it, and it's got it's tons of memorability. It's just brilliant. I love Wings Over America. That live album is just phenomenal.
It's great. It's great.
But
One of
one
my
more.
Oh, sorry. One of
No,
my
no, go
favorite.
ahead. mate.
One of my favorite albums, Ginger Baker's Air Force, the double
Oh,
album.
yeah.
Oh, I just love the cover. It's kind of like you. You got this thing with planes. I got this thing with
It's like a
Ginger
sock
Baker.
with camel or something on the cover of that.
I
isn't
know,
it?
it's
It's a sock
wonderful.
with camel.
And
But
check out Clay Thomas about your album name.
Well, it would be ADD just for the joke. It would just ad nauseum ADD. Yeah. It's unlikely I'm ever going to make an album though, so you're safe.
Yeah.
But one of the other tracks on this album was Mandolin Wind, which is
Yes.
what you get. It's what you get if you eat too many stringed instruments. Yeah, but,
Ah.
hey,
what's that?
So
That should be-
this is from the same. I'm going to show it in a second. This is from the same.
So this is another one off of Every Picture Tells
Ah,
a
he's
Story.
playing banjo.
And my favourite
man.
moment in the show, when Rod has to play something. No, mate, you're all sweaty now. I'll drop me pick. Don't worry about it, Rod. Is that correct, Ron? Yeah. Starts on this one.
Greg Shulman.
Yeah.
It's a great song. These songs are timeless from this
Yes.
era. And again, anyone who thinks of Rod as Passion or all that other crappy songs he did, this is the real
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
He was good before he became bad.
Yes, yeah.
And I don't think he was bad. He just went commercial. That's all.
Well, that's bad.
I thought you'd leave.
There's a lot worse than that. I can tell you.
Yeah.
There's a lot worse than that.
Yeah. So that album, Every Picture Tells a Story, was the one that absolutely nailed it for him commercially. Became a huge hit on both sides of the Atlantic. Big hit single on Maggie May.
Maggie May
And-
was on the radio all the time when it came
And
out.
critically
Yeah.
acclaimed too.
Mhm. Yep.
Richard's here. Richard.
Hey, Richard. Good to see you, mate.
What's up, Big Daddy?
So, you know what? We'll take a quick break from the music because I actually want to say this time Rod did have a reputation as well as something of a lothario.
Yeah, just a little bit.
And we're not going to go over every partner we've ever had because we don't have enough days in the week to do that.
Well, you know, most unless they're our age, they're not going to recognize a lot of these
so way back in the day, so this is a girl called Susanna Boffey. And in the 60s, he had a bit of a thing with her. And they actually had a child who they gave up for adoption. I think Rod did eventually become reconciled with that daughter, although she had a lot of problems. That was one of his first girls. We've also got Britt Eklund.
Oh, my God, yeah.
Famously had a long-standing relationship with Britt Eklund. I don't think they ever got married. But yeah, I wonder what the attraction was.
I don't know.
I don't get it.
Well, for her, I have no idea because that Rod was not a pretty dude. No doubt about it. But
with her,
it just proves it doesn't matter what you look like. If you can sing, they're going to come after you.
Yeah. And he's got a shorter top on than she has, I think. But,
yeah, pretty much.
Then there was, I don't know, I don't get the order right because I have no idea. There was Penny Lancaster.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, she's tall.
She's tall. Yeah, you're starting to see a pattern here, though. He likes blondes. He's starting to. And then the other one, I mean, there's been multiples. I don't even know them all. But Alana Hamilton, also somewhat tall and blonde. Just
a little.
Yeah. So
he's got a type for sure.
He has. There was Kelly Emberg as well. Was I think married. I think he married Kelly Emberg as well. And then there was probably a couple of others, but so that's a little fashion and personal interlude from the music.
Yes.
I think though
that's the one though.
Britt Eklund's the one, but I think also though that if I'm right in saying it was Rachel Hunter.
Yes, that's the one I know.
Yeah, she left him because she said he was boring. All he wanted to do was play football and then come in and have a pint and go to bed and sleep. And she wanted to go out partying. Well, you shouldn't have married a guy that was like 55 or 60.
Right?
Yes.
I mean, come on.
But their kid, Liam, ended up playing major junior hockey in the Western Hockey League.
Oh, really?
And then I went to play for some team in Britain, some hockey team in Britain, Spokane Chiefs. Yeah. So, but there you go. Rod has, and he's had many, many other relationships other than those. He's,
and Courtney's here. Courtney's here.
Courtney, you just arrived for we're chatting about Rod's conquests. Rod's conquests. Lothario is the word I would use. He said, so many girls, I'm beginning to wonder if he's gay. You know? Overcompensating.
Yes, I was going to say.
Yeah, good to see you, Courtney. So Richard Stewart looked good after her marriage to Peter Sellers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, indeed, that Britt Eklund Peter Sellers was definitely a mistake from her point of view, I think. But
man.
So the next album,
what was it? Eddie Murphy did the bit in Delirious about just sing. Right? He was imitating all the singers. Just sing and you'll get girls.
Yeah,
he said something a little different, but I'm not going to say that on the stream.
So the next one album in 1972 was Never a Dull Moment, which again was a huge success. Had a big hit single, You Wear It Well, which we'll play a clip of. But also a couple of, I mean, it's packed full of great tracks. A great version of Jimi Hendrix's Angel. My sweet angel.
Twisting the Night Away.
Twisting the Night Away. What made Milwaukee famous, which is about beer. I'd Rather Go Blind, which Chicken Shack, which is an old.
If you haven't heard him do a cover of Twisting the Night Away, it is so awesome.
Well, we'll definitely get that going. But I also had one of the greatest song titles in history, Lost Paraguayos. So
was that under the influence?
It could have been. It was him and Ronnie Wood wrote it, so they were probably drunk as whatever.
Right.
But great. And Italian Girls, I don't know what that one was about, but yeah, it had some great tracks. Strong album. And there's the football-based gatefold sleeve.
Yep.
And that's the band?
That is a bunch of the musicians that were on it. It doesn't... Ronnie Lane was on it. I'm not sure he's in this picture somewhere. Oh, yes, he's at the front.
He's always taken a lot of musicians on tour with him.
Yeah, this Martin Quitton.
Backup singers, a bunch of.
The guy with the yellow jacket on here is Martin Quittenton, and he's the guy who wrote a lot of songs with him. Like You Wear It Well, he co-wrote it with Rod Stewart, and it was really acoustic guitar player. It was really a huge solo Rod supporter, as it were, behind the scenes. Never got stardom in any way, but he worked quietly behind the scenes and reaped the royalties, I guess. So we'll have a little bit of music if we can. You guys okay for
Looks
time?
like you're doing fine with it so far, man.
Yeah, you guys, is everybody still okay? They're enjoying the music and the chat, I hope. Thanks for being here, everybody. Really do appreciate it. Are you guys okay for time?
Oh, yeah.
Well, Christian's doing his impression of a wall again. So,
is he? Oh,
he is.
I was looking at the screen for a second.
We'll have a quick. I want you to have a quick. You Wear It Well.
Yes, do it, man.
Rod Stewart.
Do it.
As long as we can get away with it, I'll keep doing it.
Do it. Yeah, I could listen to this guy all day.
So this is the other huge mega hit, I guess, from that era. And more of an acoustic feel. That's Martin Quittenton there. More of an acoustic feel, but still great.
I had nothing to do on this hot afternoon.
Very catchy.
To settle down and write you a line.
Yeah.
I've been meaning to phone you, but
All his hits had this kind of pace.
well, it's been a very long
Not too fast, not too slow. It's just right, man.
Yeah. This could be about the woman he had the kid with that we showed. They say it could be about her because it is about writing a letter to a woman he hasn't seen for a very long time. He's reading the lyrics off the paper. Again, the face has been
He
used as
must
a
have
backup.
just written it at the time.
Remember
He's not that messed up.
your brother's karate. They all did rock and roll shows.
Well, Ronnie Lane bopping about in the background.
Check the jacket, though, man.
It is.
Could he put another color on this thing?
Yeah. There's less Rod the Mod and more Rod the Sod. It's a beautiful, catchy song, though. Very catchy.
Oh, you kidding me, man? That's classic Rod Stewart right there. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just an even pace, but it makes you want to get up.
And
you
I
know?
love the fiddle on this.
Yes.
It's just phenomenal. This guy's name was Dick Powell on fiddle. I don't know what bands he might have been.
Dude, when it comes to the fiddle, the best fiddle player I've ever seen is that chick that plays with the Trans-Siberian Orchestra, dude. That was one of the wildest things I ever saw in my life.
Sorry, I Charlie Daniels.
Yeah, well,
Charlie Daniels was pretty good, yeah.
yeah, he can definitely break some strings on a bow, can't he? Yeah, he
So,
can.
I don't want to.
He could break some catgut there, couldn't he? Yeah.
So let's have a quick peek at one more track from this album, "Twisting the Night Away." I don't want the more up-to-date version. I think I'd rather just play the music from the from Inner Space. I wonder if we can get away with that one.
Yeah.
Yes, that's good.
There you go.
Martin
That's
Short.
the one. Hell yeah.
Let me tell you about a place. Some
this would you get struck for, right?
And again, his voice is well suited to this R&B material, soulful, the soul stuff. God, I love this movie.
Oh, it's a great movie. Isn't it?
Canadian kid there.
Yes.
Art short.
Very funny man.
Must watch this again soon. Maybe we'll do a Monday streaming it.
Oh yeah, you need to do that for sure. I'd love to do that one.
But
Dennis Quaid is awesome.
Rod nailed this one, yeah. Still a live favourite, is he? Right, well, we've not been taken down yet, so... Oh, Canadian, our great friend Canadian Spider-Man is here. Good to see you, buddy.
Hey, how are you, man? How was Mexico?
And hopefully Connor's still hanging out in Odyssey. And thank you to everybody that's still here on YouTube. So yeah, Twisting the Night Away, another great track from that album.
Fantastic
Sure, he can mix up the folk, he can do the soul, he can do the R&B. There was the Angel version of Angel is brilliant on that. Definitely a brilliant album. And again, another huge hit in 1972. So he was at definitely a critical peak at this point, and commercial peak. He kind of took a little bit of a dip with the album after the Smiler, although he went full tartan. Never go full tartan. And he was at the height.
Too much plaid.
Yeah, and this is 1974. There probably was a World Cup on, and Scotland probably just made it, and he was probably getting really. This is not one of his better albums. Didn't really have any big hits. He had a couple of minor hits. Critically wasn't really
Acclaimed.
So a little bit of a blip, although he followed the same formula as the other ones, of course.
I love that right there with the numbers.
Yeah,
that is really cool.
D-Bud is leaving us, eh?
D-Bud, thanks, my friend, for being here. Thank you for modding. Yeah, get to bed, get some sleep, buddy. We'll see you in the next show. Thanks for being here, mate. Great guy and a great mod for us. Thank you. But you got a lot of covers in here. You got a Mine for Me, Paul McCartney song, Let Me Be Your Car, Elton John, Girl from the North Country. The one track I think that's really stood the test of time on this one is Sweet Little Rock and Roller, which is the Chuck Berry song, and there's some great versions of videos of him doing this on YouTube. This is one from 78, and it's with the guitarist Billy Peake, who was in his band for a few years in the late 70s, St. Louis native, and also who was a mainstay of Chuck Berry's touring band. So I've always loved this song, Sweet Little Rock and Roller. This is the one track from Smiler that I always go back to. Billy Peake was a great guitar player. Well, still is. He's still alive. He's the best Chuck Berry guitar player that isn't Chuck Berry. That's Billy Peake. Great guy. Playing the Flying V. This is from 78. The same band that did the Hot Legs and stuff like that.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, that era. It's a little beyond the parameters of our show, but it's live, so I'll let them away with it. So you could still do the rock and roll. Courtney was born in this year. Surely not Courtney. Wasn't that 1988?
Oh, Scottish Stern.
I want to get to Billy Peake's solo here.
There
You
you
can
go.
tell he played with Chuck Berry for years.
Hell yeah, just a little bit. Doing the kick. Man, that
voice.
Awesome.
I love it. I just love
That
this.
is awesome.
Hey, look at me, Rod. Look at me, Rod.
Yeah. Apparently Billy Peake still does a lot of gigs in St. Louis where he comes from, and there is clips on YouTube of Rod Stewart's gig there this year, and Billy Peake came up on stage with him and did this and Hot Legs, and it was brilliant. I just love it. I know it's meant to be a Rod Stewart show, but I love this guy.
Oh, it's great. It's really good.
He was getting his share of the stage there, yeah.
Yes.
Just
And
take
Rod
it.
was enjoying it too.
You can hear you can hear Hot Legs. You can hear the guitar playing on it. That's that guy. Yeah, that's neat stuff. So that was the Smiler album. That's really the best track on it, I think. But
Okay.
what do I know?
Well, you know a lot because we share the same taste, so I know you know good.
We do, buddy. We're coming to my favorite Rod Stewart album.
Mhm.
It is Atlantic Crossing. 1975, the first one that he really did post Faces. The Faces were breaking up or had broken up. And he went to Tom Dowd as producer, who of course had done all that great soul stuff and R&B stuff in America. Recorded a lot of it at Muscle Shoals.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Not all of it. Some of it was New York and some of it was in Hollywood, but a lot of it was recorded at Muscle Shoals, and went for this format that was like they actually had it on the record, fast side, slow side.
Okay.
So a side full of kind of uptime rockers or R&B stuff, and then a B side of the slower stuff. And this album is it's my personal favorite.
Okay.
It had massive. I love the little Scottish flag there.
I know, right?
So here he is, kind of stepping over the Atlantic from a large cruise ship. Getting a little bit more glam, I would say. That's more of a glam rock kind of look.
Well, the 70s.
Yeah.
Do you think that's 60? You know, that was coming along.
Yeah, and yeah, it really stretched his sound. I mean, a lot of the musicians on this, you've got Steve Cropper and Booker T and the MGs.
What year is this?
So this is 1975. This is Atlantic Crossing.
Yeah.
I'm saying it's my
Disco
favorite.
start to start. Yeah.
So I gotta go back. So it's my favorite, and it's got tracks on it like Drift Away, great cover of Drift Away. There's some really great rockers on it. 3-Time Loser, Stone Cold Sober, which is a fucking kick-ass rock song.
Mm-hmm.
I Don't Want to Talk About It is on this album.
Yeah.
Which was a huge international hit. Now, it was written by, I Don't Want to Talk About It was written by Danny Whitten of Crazy Horse. Neil Young's Crazy Horse.
Wow. I haven't heard that.
On
name
their
before, ever.
own album they did pre-Neil Young, he wrote I Don't Want to Talk About It. He died not long after. It was drug. Well, that's one of the guys that Neil Young wrote Needle and the Damage Done about, Danny Whitten. Died of heroin overdose. But that's a beautiful song. And he did This Old Heart of Mine, songs like that, and the song Sailing, which I'm going to play a bit of. As I say, the song Sailing was a massive, massive hit in Britain, and he only ever really plays it live in Britain or Canada, where it was a sort of a minor hit. So, but let's find that one. And I want to say what you think about it, because you probably haven't heard it that much. And it was written, the song Sailing.
Either. Yeah.
What?
The only thing I worry about is you getting hit by not pausing this every once in a while, because it's great stuff, dude. Yeah.
And I think, I Don't Want to Talk About It's a great track, but I think my other one would be the
Stone
track
Cold Sober's good.
This is a
Yeah.
great killer rock track.
Yes, it
Love
is.
the guitar.
That's that side.
So this is my second favorite.
Always get caught in a race.
Proving Rod could still rock, even though he's doing the big ballads.
Rod could always do rock and roll, but he's best suited. That voice of his is best suited for those medium ballad type things. You know? Sounds a lot like Hot Legs, you know.
It does. He's starting to get into that kind of. I don't know what you would call it. It's rock, but it's not hard rock, you know.
No.
Yeah, that is my other one. But yeah, I love Atlantic Crossing. I listened to that album a lot. I've got the deluxe edition digitally, and it's got loads of great stuff that didn't make the album. A lot of covers, a lot of stuff with Booker T and the MGs, like to Love Somebody and some songs like that. It's got that Skyboat song with the pipe band on it. Great album.
Do you own a turntable?
I do. It's right behind me. So if I
was just
see it
curious
behind me
if you
there.
did. Yeah,
See
I
it?
see it. I see it. I just wanted to see if you did.
It's on top of the vinyl, and I play it through my Vox guitar amp, which sounds really good.
Yeah,
it sounds better than my guitar playing. That's for sure.
But 70s, it's a much later song.
Oh,
but
I know. Yeah.
No. You were asking me if there's a song I like, and a great Scottish anthem, "My Town" by Glass Tiger, and with Rod Stewart. Now that's essential.
We'll get to that,
okay, and it's
good
still
stuff,
pretty
mate.
good. Yes.
Well, thanks for mentioning that. Yeah, I'll look that up and we'll play that.
That brings a tear to a Frenchman's eyes.
I thought it was only a good pack of smokes and a fight at a hockey game did that.
And a Joey and a blue.
So moving on swiftly, the album after that was A Night on the Town, with an interesting artwork which is reminiscent of somebody. I don't know who. It's not Magritte. Must be McGree. One of these other Belgian or whatever.
Davina, where are you? Where are you, Davina?
We need Davina. I don't know what the art. Who did that artwork? I don't know who it was. So again, he kept that fast side, slow side thing going, and this one is again, it's packed full of hits. So this is 76. Tonight's the Night. First Cut is the deepest. Old Cat Stevens song.
Yeah, this album is probably my favorite from the era you're talking about.
Yeah, Tonight's the Night. First Cut is the
First
deepest.
Cut is the deepest. Yeah.
The Killing of Georgie, which was a hit single in Britain. I don't know about North America. About a gay guy, which was quite progressive for the time. You know, I mean, it was about the murder of a gay guy. You know, and they got quite a lot of kudos for that, for being quite different. It's not one of my favorite songs just because I don't like the music particularly in it, but Tonight's the Night and First Cut is the deepest are phenomenally good tracks. And as is our want, we're going to try and play a little bit of that. So let's do so Tonight's the Night is kind of like a good time ballad, if there's such a thing. It's not a rock thing.
This is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about an adult.
Yes.
This yo chick, we gonna get down tonight. This is like a white version of Barry White. You know what I'm saying?
And again, he's got Tom Dowd producing. A lot of it's recorded at Muscle Shoals with Booker T and the MGs.
There's no question what this song is about.
Yeah.
Period. Okay?
Stay away from my window.
Here he is.
Throw your panties on the stage. Go ahead.
Here he is in his RV. No, his mansion.
The telephone line. Relax, baby, and draw that blind.
Oh, it's a blonde.
Of course.
Kick off your shoes and sit right.
So a lot of people. Sorry to interrupt the music, but a lot of people criticize this in Britain, particularly, and those that were into the rock stuff, they say, "Oh, this is MOR selling out." not knowing it's recorded at Muscle Shoals, it's with Tom Dowd producing, it's got Booker T and all these great guys playing on it. It's soul.
Yes.
They missed the point entirely. They wanted to do some soul stuff. So Davina seems to have nailed
You put
the.
this song on with the right chick, you're getting laid. Sorry,
Yeah.
just it. You just are.
Yeah, even the right guy, if that's your. You know. So. So I guess Davina knows what that cover art is.
And she knows where it is too.
Minus the Rod in the middle. Yeah, Rod inserted himself into that cover art. Thank God we have the cleverest chat, the smartest chat on YouTube. Somebody's got to make up for me.
Or me.
Oh, you guys are you've got this stuff. Yeah. So a great track.
Oh, are you kidding me? Listen to the saxophone. Oh,
But yeah, they missed the point.
saxophone is one of the most.
Rod's got a
underrated
great soul
instruments
voice.
ever.
Yeah, the saxophone's great, you're right. And he wanted to do soul. And then the other one that I absolutely adore and everybody does, because it was huge. Its first cut is the deepest, the
Yes.
Cat Stevens song.
Mm-hmm.
And Cat Stevens' version is great.
Yeah.
But Rod did that thing where he takes something and these have not been taken down yet. This will be copyright struck to hell in the morning. So Canadian Spider-Man has to leave us. It's good to see you, buddy. Yeah, always good to see you. You know, you're welcome on the show anytime you want to come on. I mean it anytime, my friend.
And
We met in person. He's the greatest guy.
And I hope you enjoyed Mexico. I've been watching your videos. I hope Mexico was great.
Yeah, and I hope you didn't smuggle too much stuff back over the border when you.
I don't know
In-
that I
in the-
know Canadian Spider-Man, but I'm gonna have to follow his channel because he's Spider-Man.
But he's Canadian Spider-Man.
I understand that, but he's Spider-Man. That's all that matters.
But he's a great guy.
He could be
So-
Peruvian Spider-Man for all I care. It doesn't matter.
So Rod was definitely developed for me his own thing by this time. You know, well past the Faces stuff. This was very different from that. He'd moved away from that good time rock and roll, the more soulful thing, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then the following album, if I can just get this thing, there we go. Footloose and Fancy Free. The titles weren't getting any better though.
We're up at 77 now. You said you were cutting it off at 76.
Well, I thought I'd go this far.
Okay.
This is the absolute limit, I think.
Footloose and Fancy Free? He's not going to do anything from the 80s. I can tell you that right now.
No, this is the absolute. I figured I'd go this far purely because of his last really great record, in my opinion, which was Hot Legs.
Hot legs,
And-
man.
And the guy who was playing the guitar there, Chuck Berry.
Billy Peak, great guitar player. Hot Legs. This album it's again a huge commercial hit. I was starting to move away from him here though, because he's starting to do stuff that's just a little bit more, going for the commercial. So there's tracks like I Was Only Joking, which was one of the first guitar things I learned to play in the guitar, though, funnily enough. You're in My Heart.
Yeah,
Which
that's a
You're
great
in
tune.
My Heart,
That is a great
you're
tune.
in- Which he wrote. I mean, it sounds like something he's maybe got from an old soul thing, but no, he wrote it. And then covers like If Loving You Is Wrong, I Don't Want to Be Right, which I've never been that keen on that song. So really, by then, I felt he was probably past his creative peak for me. But I do love Hot Legs. So in honor of Hot Legs, we're going to play a bit of Hot Legs.
Yes, let's do.
The last truly, just like Start Me Up is the last true Rolling Stones classic they ever made. Hot Legs is the last Rod Stewart classic for me. Unless that's hyperbole.
Hell,
Hot
I didn't
legs.
see him till a decade later, buddy. I didn't see him.
You
Till
know,
like
I've still never
88
seen
or
him in
89.
concert.
Oh yeah.
Really?
So let's. No, I've never seen him in concert. He is coming to Calgary in the summer. I might go. He might, because he may be gone by then. Who knows? He's getting on.
70s.
I was fixing to say, don't miss the chance, man. Because look, Prince came through here a year before he died, and I told my wife, I said, you know, at the time we had kids, and I was like, look, we'll catch him next time. And he was dead a year.
Well, that's.
And I was like,
yeah.
shit, we should have gone, you know. So
The problem was that once he got into the, this all was before my gig going eras, and once it got into my gig going 8 days, just shortly after this, I didn't like the stuff he was doing, and I didn't really want to pay to go see it. So anyway,
military a couple of years, and I busted up with a girl, bought a couple of tickets, and I ended up going with a high school friend of mine that I graduated high school with. We were working at the same bar together. She was waitressing, and I was a bartender.
Dating the staff. How dare you?
I know.
Man, what's she gonna do? No, I wasn't dating her. I'm telling you, I just took a friend because I'd friggin' broken up with somebody, and I had an extra ticket. I knew she was a freak for him. I knew she loved him, and I said, "You want to go with me?" I got nobody to go with. And she's like, "Oh yeah, hell yeah!" And turned out the manager of the club I was working at was going that night too, and we all went to a pool party beforehand and got blasted and went to the show. It was a lot of fun. It was
good.
Yeah, it was a great time. But I didn't get laid because this is a girl who was a friend of mine. It was really in the friend zone. You know what I'm saying? I just didn't want the ticket to go to waste. You know what I'm saying?
You were in the friend zone before there was a friend zone.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's right. There's nothing worse than that, is there? So that for me was the last great Rod Stewart song, and then it was on to stuff. It was on to stuff like this after.
Just want my body. All you got to do is call. If you want my body, you think I'm sexy? Come, baby, let me know. There's a wee lad, she's sitting in the.
If you've ever been to a Scottish wedding, this is what it's like.
When the drink together, you want my body. You think I'm sexy? Come on, baby, let me know.
Okay.
Hang a solo.
I can hear you again now. For some reason, I lost everything there for a second.
Can you hear it?
No, I can't hear what you're playing at all.
Can you hear it, Christian?
I can hear it. That's a Scottish wedding.
That's a Scottish wedding, yeah. I'm sorry you couldn't hear that, Joe, but yeah.
That's weird.
A piper is down. A piper is down.
Yeah. I don't know how to stop this damn video now.
I don't even see the video. I don't even see the video. I see it. I'm seeing the video now.
Could everybody in the chat see it?
Yes.
Yeah, everybody can see it. It's going out, but I can't see it on the Melon screen.
Anyway, that was the if you want my body from. So I married an ex-murderer. There's a piper doon. That's what. Yeah. Hail TZ Burton. Good to see you, buddy. Yeah. So that was Rod Stewart post Hot Legs.
Is that Michael Myers?
Yes.
I'm watching it on YouTube.
Yeah.
I can't hear.
Yeah, I want my body.
Yeah, there he is, clear as day.
I'm surprised you can. Yeah, it's a shame you couldn't hear that, but it's.
I see you three on the screen, like we're full screen.
Well, that's all you need to see. That's it. Forget the video. You get to see us. That's all you need. 80s. I grew up with
a couple of big hits. Glass Tiger.
But what's his name? Alan, the lead singer and the brain behind. He was actually Scottish with an actual Scottish accent, like U70s. But he was Canadian. And he wrote a song, and I was really impressed with Glass Tiger getting the collaboration of Mr. Sir Rod Stewart.
Yeah, Don't Forget Me When I'm Gone. That was the big hit I remember. Don't forget me when I'm gone.
With Brian Adams. Brian
Yes.
Adams was doing the backing vocals.
Yeah, and they're from Newmarket, Ontario. Okay.
Newmarket, yes.
Yeah.
That's
Well, I'll forgive them for that.
Well, for a guy from Ottawa, it's all the same.
So it was produced by Jim. The first album was produced by Jim Valance, of course, who's Brian Adams' sidekick. Yeah.
Yes.
So anyway, we'll play a bit of this. This will be the one that gets. I bet you this is the one that gets the stream taken down. We've played all that other stuff.
But this is good. Listen to this.
Hang on, I gotta share the screen first. Give me a second.
Listen to this, Joe.
Give a second. Like, can what I mean? I gotta do this. Right, here we go.
May have been booted off. There it goes. Now, hey, everything's good.
Carry me over, lead me home.
Oh, I know this song. I know this song. Yeah. It's very Scottish.
Yes, exactly.
It is very Scottish.
It brings the tears to a Frenchman's
Well, that was Edinburgh. That looked like Edinburgh. That's Edinburgh, pretty sure. Hopefully we're not going to get struck to hell with this one. But
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
Just pause it every once in a while.
yeah, but you don't hear the music properly then, do you?
I understand you don't, but if you know what's going to keep you from getting struck, why don't you do it?
Well, I don't mind being copyright claimed. I just don't want the stream taken down.
I got you.
Oh, this is a great song.
I know. I love it.
Yeah.
Those urchins, those street urchins.
Street urchins. I just watched Scrooge the other day. Every time they say that,
Urchins, yeah. Rod Stewart's doing a great job in this one so far.
Yeah, I know.
Is he in it?
Yes, he is. Listen.
I've forgotten about this.
Oh, come on, Kevin. You call yourself Scottish? Really?
Yeah. Am I playing the right version?
That's good. There's only one
probably
version.
does he come in at the end or something, Christian?
After the solo, he comes in after this. He only gets
Okay,
like
see,
4 verses.
you just got to be patient.
Yeah.
Glasgow. That's awfully Scottish of them.
Here we go. Oh, no, he's not in this.
Is he
That was
I hope-
Rod's line right there.
I hope Rod wasn't getting paid by the note.
Right? Or the video, obviously.
No, it's 70.
The old- I've been in that bar.
Oh, really?
I've been in that bar, yeah.
Wait,
Many.
see right here where Rod Stewart sings, that's not the right version.
Is this not the right version?
No, it's not.
That's what he's saying.
It's not because when they were dancing in front of the bar, that's where Rod would have sang.
Did they make a video with Rod in it?
I don't know. That's above my pay grade. Thanks, Joe. Move it. Yeah,
That's a
cool.
great saying, isn't it? Great saying. It's above my pay grade, baby.
Okay, here we go.
It's a great video, that other one, though. Loved it.
I know.
He's going to come in after this.
Yes. Right there.
So when I think of
There he is.
Scotia,
You can't miss that.
there's a magic that fills the air.
With the downtown boys making all that noise. Oh, we live like we just don't care.
Yeah, good stuff. Yeah,
I know, with Rod Stewart. Again, this brings a tear to a Frenchman's eyes.
Aye. You're an awfully sentimental chap.
Yeah, that's cool. I was
That's
just looking
nice.
up his albums, and the tour I saw him on was album is 1988. It was Out of Order was the name of it, and
Okay.
the top songs on it were Lost in You, Forever Young,
Oh, that one I remember. I remember
My
that one.
Heart Can't Tell You No, and Crazy About Her.
I do remember Forever
But
Young.
the big one was Forever Young. Yeah.
And
that was the
but
big
all
one.
those songs that you mentioned played on AM radio here in Ottawa ad nauseum. Ad nauseum.
Oh yeah, they played the hell out of me. Yeah.
That would be a great album or a great band group, band name. Ad nauseum.
Ad nauseum.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck.
First ad nauseum.
I'll play drums on it.
So,
I'll learn the tambourine,
Yeah.
I guess. I don't play
so
instruments, man.
is there? I mean,
I'm a different kind of artist, if you know what I'm saying.
you are.
Yes, and you are commissioned by me in January 2023. I'm your
Yes, sir.
first. Yes, I
I'm
can't
a-
wait.
Sure.
I'm a
Yes,
piss
sir. It's going to be a
artist.
great picture. I've already got something in mind for it.
Yeah,
It
I'm a
sounds-
piss
it looks
artist.
really cool.
Yes,
He sent me a picture. Now, look, his lady in the picture has sunglasses, but he obviously loves the picture for some reason. It's got sentimental value, I must imagine.
our
Because-
second honeymoon after we renewed our vows.
There you go. See? I knew there was some sentimental value to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put she's going to have sunglasses on, right?
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put, there's a city skyline back there. What city is it?
Chicago.
Chicago.
We were visiting Nick Weiser.
Were you? Oh, really?
Yeah, this summer in August.
I might have to find a way to fit the number 32 in there then. But anyway, I'm going to put the city skyline in the background. That's what I'm going to do.
I would just like to thank Connor B, who's been holding the fort over on Odyssey, watching over there. Thanks, buddy. And he's tipped
Very
another $1. YouTube's becoming way too precious. Damn right they are.
Mhm.
I'm definitely going to be doing a few Rumble and Odyssey only music streams, like my radio show that I do on YouTube, just because I think I'll be able to play more and get, not get shut down after an hour or whatever. So
Right.
definitely going to be
I don't
doing
know
that.
how you guys run radio stations on YouTube. I really
You
don't know
can't.
how
You
do
really
that.
gotta. You get like you're lucky if you can make it to 2 hours. You've had a great night,
Really?
and you got to have a lot of ad breaks and stuff. I make packages of clips to play as ad breaks, and
Okay.
Now-
it's tough because I want to, and I can't play any long stuff like anything that's too long because that just tempts the algorithm too much.
Yep.
So Rumble and Odyssey, I think I'll have more freedom to just sit and play music. Although I need to be able to have at least enough of an audience that would listen to it on those platforms. So
Yeah.
the Rumble stuff. I'm getting quite a few views on Rumble recently for some of the
I've
streams.
signed up with Rumble and Odyssey. I'm on Locals. I started an account on all of these, and I've put a few videos up on Rumble and stuff, but I just don't have any following on those.
It's tough
other
to
ones.
build a following on there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think my last stream on there, the Monday stream, I did get about 25 views on there in the end. But
if more guys like Ricada go over there, we're going to get more eyes on it.
I think if you can just hit it right, you might get an audience. Yeah, it's you got to hit the zeitgeist. Courtney, I love when you listen to my radio show and suggest good stuff because you do, and your taste is impeccable, Courtney. Thank you. Guys, so did we miss any
of that era? No, we
egregious
did
from
not.
that era?
No, of that
No.
era, no. You're right. Hot Legs pretty much ends the 70s for him, and then it was off to the 80s and the days of greed,
Sequins,
money,
one-piece
and,
jumpsuits, and
cranking it out.
cranking it
Yes.
out. Yeah, and he stopped
Mhm.
writing songs at a certain point.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of these early albums of his, he wrote a lot of the songs. He stopped doing that. He kind of dried up, and just a lot of it was more disco and
Yeah.
sappy ballads. He did do a couple of good covers. He did a good cover of Some Guys Have All the Luck, but I still prefer.
Some guys have all the luck.
Still
is
prefer Robert Palmer.
fantastic. Yeah,
Robert
I mean, yeah, absolutely. His is good, but the one I heard first was Rod Stewart. That was the first
Yeah.
one I heard.
Yeah, same here. Same here. I was surprised. I learned something. I didn't know it was a Robert.
Yeah, when we did the Palmer stream, that was the first time I'd ever known that he did that song first. Yeah.
Oh, guys, just an idea. It has nothing to do with Rod Stewart. Another stream should be a very underrated musical studio. Shoals Muscle Band.
Muscle Band. Muscle Shoals Bound.
I would say it backwards, being a French guy and all, but still, I think we should do something like that from Paul Simon to everybody that went there. Everybody, most of the people thought that Shoals Muscle Band were actual black people. So maybe a stream on those guys, how they backed up and how great they were in Alabama.
That sounds awesome, man.
I know.
The first thing that comes to my mind when you say how they thought they were black, first thing that comes to my mind is first white guy that played the Apollo Theater. My personal hero when it comes to music, Buddy
Holly.
Buddy
Holly.
Buddy Holly was the first white guy to play the Apollo Theater, and had him dancing in the aisles by the second song. I mean, but the promoter, when he saw him, was like, "You're white.
You're white.
Yeah. We can't put you on stage." He's like, "Man, come on, you already paid us."
Yeah, because the Allman Brothers were a big part of that.
Yes,
the Muscle Shoals scene, and Dwayne Allman played in a lot of stuff. Yeah, there's a great show to be made out of that for sure. I do have one more video clip. I just remembered I wanted to play.
Sorry.
No problem, guys. If you've got a few minutes, if you don't,
my friend, I'm not working
and
tomorrow.
If you want ideas for shows, I'll give you some ideas for shows.
I know. It's the time. It's the time to prep that I'm. So this is with accompanying videos that someone's put together. This is Rod Stewart's Skyboat song, version of the Skyboat song, which is just awesome. He goes full Scottish on this. Never go full Scottish.
No, never go full flat.
Bagpipes are awesome.
There's a YouTube channel I found this on called One Runrig. Runrig is a Scottish Celtic rock band who actually I knew one of the members of it, but Rod, this is one of my favourite Rod Stewarts. So Red Shirt's going to crash. Thanks for being here, buddy. We'll be wrapping up in a few minutes. Appreciate it, mate. This will be the song that gets you taken down, yeah.
Right.
E-Clay loves 80s Rod Stewart. Nothing wrong with that, mate. Nothing wrong with that. Rod does start singing eventually.
Yeah, of course he does. Man, those pipes are badass, though. I love a good song on bagpipes, dude.
Hey, Saul. Almost makes me homesick for Scotland. Almost.
Not this time of year, dude.
Oh, I don't know. It's freaking cold here in Alberta.
Yeah.
Never gets this cold in Scotland.
Really?
No. Scotland's quite mild compared to this.
Pretty though.
Anyway, I give Rod Stewart huge kudos for making that.
That's very cool.
And that's at the same time he was doing all the soul stuff at Muscle Shoals. He decided to do this as well. I got a full pipe band together.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it is using Outland. I mean, I don't watch that show, so this is him playing a gig at Stirling Castle apparently, which is a beautiful castle. Well, it's indoors, of course. Anyway, better not play too much of that. But then, yeah, the Sky Boat song is an old song from. Yeah, it is in. It's used. I think it is used in Outlander. Changed a little bit, but it is. Let me just stop sharing.
Outlander
or Outlander. Outlander, which is that thing about the girl gets thrown back into the Scottish Highlands in the past.
Oh, okay, that one.
Romantic.
I've never seen it. Please tell me.
Not my kind of show. But
it's a chick show, Joe. That's why.
So I think that an adaptation of it is used as that, but it's an old traditional Scottish song from I'd like to say the 1800s, and it's about Bonnie Prince Charlie following the Jacobite rebellion and being defeated at Culloden, being taken on a boat over to Skye to hide from the English and then get a boat back to France. So that's basically what it's about. So it's a very evocative thing, but Rod does a great version. But I thought I'd finish off with that one.
No, that's very good.
Those beautiful shots of Scotland.
That's what I would think that a good Scotsman would finish every show with bagpipes in some way, shape, or form.
There's nothing quite like a scuttle on the pipes, as they say.
Man, I don't know a person that really, I'm not kidding you, that I know that doesn't want to have Amazing Grace played on the bagpipes at their funeral.
I picked that for my father's funeral as one of the songs, which my sister and I organized that, and that was one of the tunes we picked. We also picked there was a couple of other evocative things, but that one has to be played.
One of the most soul-wrenching instruments ever invented. Doesn't matter what you play on it; it's gonna rip at your heart.
Yeah.
Joe, don't forget, if it's not Scottish, it's crap.
I knew that already. I hear that all the time from my stepson, who's half Scottish.
Thanks, John, buddy.
Yeah.
Appreciate it very much. And thanks to these guys for being on with me. So, gentlemen, your last words on Rod.
Well, you know what I think of him. It's the same reason why I love Foreigner, man. It's adult music about adults. It's not this kiddie crap. We're gonna get some soulful man woman greatness, if you understand what I'm saying. It's just it's stuff that you can listen to at a party, or you can listen to one-on-one with your chick. You know what I'm saying? It's really good stuff. I've always enjoyed the guy. I thought and I learned a lot about his. I didn't know any of this stuff from the 60s at all. I knew some of the tunes from the Faces, but the stuff before it, I hadn't heard any of that stuff. It was very cool. But I've been a fan of him forever, and I went and saw him live because I wanted to. You know, it was one of those things. I had the money. I wanted to go see him, and he did not disappoint. And he was. I guess he was in his 40s, or he wasn't 50 yet when I saw him. I think he was in his 40s, and kicking soccer balls all over the place.
He still does that. Yeah, he still does that. Yeah.
Well,
Christian, your thoughts?
My thoughts are very simple in a few words. Legendary rocker, womanizer extraordinaire, and a philosopher who said, I think from after my last divorce, I'm going to keep my own banana in my own fruit bowl. And
That's, that's one way of putting it, yes. That's
Right.
one way of putting it. Well, as for me, yeah, I mean, Rod was a formative part of my getting into music in the early 70s. Almost a ubiquitous figure in Scotland and in the UK. One of those guys, there was like a trio of guys. It was him, Elton John, and Freddie Mercury. And they all did hang out, and they were all the three titans of the pop rock scene at that time in the chart scene in Britain, I think. And I wish I'd had more time to cover more Faces stuff, but I wanted to get to the solo Rod stuff. And the Faces were the quintessential good time rock and roll band.
Mm-hmm.
And Rod, I believe that regardless of my feelings about some of his later material, put together an outstanding body of work in the 70s. So fair play to the man, you know, and fair play to his loving his Scottish roots, even though he was born in London, but he still paid homage to that. So.
Well, I tell people all the time, you know, down here that they wonder why I don't eat Cajun food and stuff. I'm like, well, guys, I'm a transplanted Yankee. My parents are from Maine and Massachusetts. It's, you know, I am, you know, I feel like I'm from that part of the country, even though I was born right here in Louisiana, you know, raised here and everything. It's just, I've always been, I was raised by Northern parents, and
fair enough. Yeah,
that's why this Louisianian knows about hockey. You know what I mean?
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
And nice hat, 70s.
Yeah, thanks. It's good hatty, nice hatty. Courtney, I just put it on right now, Courtney. So it wasn't on earlier.
Yeah,
you're not blind. Oh yeah, Hammerfall. I've got a lot of their records. Yeah, that would be good. I've got to go to Sabaton sometime as well. Now I'm near a bigger city. I can possibly get some gigs in.
That's some Pope Metallica stuff right there.
Oh, I know. I love both of those bands are great. But yeah, the Pipes. There's nothing quite like it. I mean, you can get a bit annoyed by an individual piper, especially in Edinburgh when there's one on every street corner for the tourist season. But there's nothing like the massed pipe band. And if you go to see if you ever go to Edinburgh in the festival, go up to the Edinburgh Military Tattoo on the battlements in the concourse of Edinburgh Castle. It's amazing. And you'll see the full pipe band at night going, all the lights, single piper up in the ramparts.
What's the thing everybody remembers from the Queen's funeral?
I didn't watch it, so I have no idea.
The last thing there was
the single piper.
Hit her guard playing the pipes on the way out. Yep.
Now, 70s, I pledge to you, my friend, this will only be drank when we are doing live streams with you.
Okay. Well, I will get myself an equivalent bottle then. I need a new malt. I've drank most of my malt.
Are you telling me I got to buy a $12
$12.
$12
12-year-old bottle of fucking Macallan now? Is that what you're telling me?
No, you don't. No, you don't.
Up?
I am doing it in Rod and 70s honor, but my pledge to 70s, this will only be drank when I'm on stream with him.
Right.
It's on the shelf.
Please don't make me
the
drink
next
that,
one of these
you'll
we
have me
do
for half a stream. Trust me.
Next one of these specials, one-off specials we do, then I'll get the whiskey out again. So
just to show you how much I mean it, you could have two bimbos coming in here with double D's, and they would be saying, "Want a drink?" I said, "Sorry, it's for 70s." That's how much I pledge to you.
I'd say to them, "You go first. You drink first." So. I'd love. I mean, we've had a small but enthusiastic chat tonight. I'd like to thank you all for being here for this little one-off show. I would love to thank Connor for being over on the Odyssey side and keeping the flag flying there. Thanks, buddy.
And pledging $2. And pledging $2.
And pledging $2. Yeah, that's just $2 is $2. Das Wolfen, thanks for being here, John. Good to see you, buddy. Courtney, always good to see you. Great friend of the channel and panelist whenever she's able to make it, and we love her contribution. Soul Assassin, always great to see you. So great to see you, Soul. We had the wonderful Davina and her extensive knowledge, keeping us real, especially her knowledge of art. I was very impressed. Thank you for being here, Davina. I'm glad you
And we
enjoyed
know
it.
it's not Wikipedia. You only pipe off about the art. We know
Yeah.
better. You
Yeah,
can't fool us, Davina.
Yeah, that version of the Sky Boat song, if you buy it in the digital deluxe edition of Atlantic Crossing, it sounds brilliant on headphones. Better, it'll sound way better than that YouTube one. But so Eakley Thomason, thanks for being here, my friend. We had just another redshirt who shuffled off the bed, but I hope he's enjoyed the show when he was here, and I'm sure he did. And it's good to see him, great friend, and another guy I've met in person, which is great. My brother on YouTube, Darius Munchausen. Thanks for being here, Darius.
He's the best.
Darius is a brilliant guy. Low Spec Linux was here. TZ Burton was here, another hockey fan, Canucks fan for his sins. And there are many at the moment for the Canucks. Canadian Spider-Man. I don't want to miss anybody.
Mark D with a C just dropped in.
Oh, Mark, buddy, we're just wrapping up, my
just wrapping
friend.
up, man.
It's
What are you
so
doing?
good to see you, though.
Connecticut's favorite son. Hello, Mark.
We've just
Where
played
can I get a Rod Stewart wig? He's asking.
Yeah, we played 18 hours worth of Rod Stewart, and you're just coming in at the end of it.
Just missing it. Yeah.
Yeah, good night, John. Heading to bed. Good to see you, buddy. Yes, hello, Mark. And if I missed anybody, I'm deeply apologize if I missed anybody from that list. But thank you all for being here, and thanks to everyone who watches on the replay. We will do another one of these one-off specials apart from my Monday shows. We got a few ideas of artists we can do. We'll talk about it offline.
Yes.
Christian, is there anything you want to plug before you go?
Not yet. I still don't have my laptop, so my vinyl revival kind of thing there is still on the shelf collecting dust, just like the McKillum will be until I'm on stream with you.
No problem, mate.
But I will be supporting you, gents, as much as I can with money and love.
Yeah, just throw money. That's what they say at the strip club.
Okay,
Throw money.
Fuck the love. Just give me
Throw
some
money. Throw money.
I get it. I get
We're
it.
coin operated here.
Shaking your head.
I'm
Joe,
shaking
mate.
my head. Yes, I am.
Joe, mate. Give us
I'd
your.
rather have the love. You keep watching the stuff we do, Christian. I don't need your money. That's for sure. Yeah, guys, dude, anytime you want me on to talk about 70s music, man, you know, I grew up on AM radio, a radio station here that a lot of people don't know this. Famous comedian George Carlin was a DJ here in the early 70s before he got started with his stand-up career. He played on Keel here. He was a DJ. Yeah, I love doing these shows with you, man. So anytime you want me on to do some 70s music, I am down. Let's do it.
Yeah, no problem, mate. And
Trust me, I've heard it. If I may not know everything about it, but my dad made sure I heard it.
Well,
okay.
I have penciled in Foreigner for one of these shows. So.
Oh yeah, we could do a Foreigner show.
Yeah.
I tell you the one I'd really love to do though, and that's just look at Linda Ronstadt and who played with her.
Well, that's rather rude. Phrasing.
I understand. I'm not talking about getting in her drawers. I'm talking about the music.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
And the artists that worked with her. Basically, the Eagles were her backup band at one point.
Fair enough. But you have a crush on Linda Ronstadt. Maybe your judgment of her music talent might be a little bit.
No. So, have you watched? There is a. Let me see.
Blue Bayou, my favorite song about Linda Ronstadt. The remake
Blue
of
Bayou? Yeah.
Blue Bayou.
But, I was introduced to Buddy Holly through her because she covered a couple of Buddy Holly tunes and they were huge hits.
Ah, okay.
You know,
clearly, Mark, I am the sexiest panelist. I mean, there's no doubt about it. So. Just listen to me.
But yes, I do have a crush on Linda Ronstadt because of that album cover where she's in the roller skates.
Mm.
Oh, hopefully-
Yes, I was
So-
definitely in love with that
Hopefully
woman.
it doesn't
Yes.
affect your objectivity when it comes to music. Hopefully.
No, it doesn't. It
Sex
doesn't. That
does-
girl played every genre of music you can think of.
Yes.
She sang it all. She sang
All right.
gospel. She sang country. She sang opera. She wanted to watch the documentary, the Sound of My Voice, Linda Ronstadt. You will be amazed. And the sad thing about it is she can't sing now.
Unfortunately.
Yes, she can't.
But
Well,
70,
tell you what, you do that in your channel, and I'll join you, mate.
thanks
Yes,
for
sir.
having us, 70.
Yes,
It's
sir.
always a
I might
pleasure.
just do
always.
that.
So just a quickie for me. I might be on Midnight's Edge after dark tomorrow afternoon, depending on timing. Friday, I'll probably pop up on Stone Loki Friday night, and then Matt Falwell Productions. Saturday, I believe we're having a special. There's going to be a special Cotton Council on Snowdub's channel.
Man.
There may be a close relative of mine appears on that. The black sheep. I mean, the black sheep, the black goat, the black. I don't know, of the family. Next Monday, It's Only Talking Roll is going to be the Dio era Black Sabbath special.
There you go.
And there's a shitload of other good stuff coming up. I think the week after that, we're going to do the Canon movies, Golem Globus Canon movies.
Yeah, I remember
Chuck
you saying something
Norris.
like that.
Chuck Norris.
And Purple Valkyrie and I think maybe this Sunday are going to do a Christmas songs thing on her channel. But I'm not sure of the time. But
Isn't there
so,
a Schwarzenegger canon movie? I think there is.
oh, probably, yeah, Red Dawn or
Chuck
something.
Norris. Chuck Norris.
I know
Well, there
Chuck
was,
did a
but
bunch
there
of
was,
them.
there was also Charles Bronson, Death Wish, and
Mhm. Yep.
started in that, you know. But yeah, that's going to be a great show.
Yeah, it is.
Right. So thanks again, everybody. Hope you all have a great night. Remember, stay well and keep on rocking. Thanks to my panelists, and cheerio, cheerio, cheerio.
Hasta la vista,
Hasta la
baby.
vista, baby. Play outro and end stream is the command.